What's up, everybody? Welcome to Blade Talk with Scab and Joe. Sit back, relax. We got a pretty good show here. What's up, everybody? Welcome. This is Choir Boys Outdoors. My name is Joe. I'm from JS BladeCraft. I am partners with Scab with our show, Blade Talk with Scab and Joe. And in that note, welcome to everybody in the room. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for all possibly Neeves Knives audience coming in, to our subscribers. Thank you and welcome everybody to another edition of Blade Talk. So before I bring everyone into the room, and this should be a pretty fun show. I probably heard a couple of people talk about this online in terms of like, what are the main factors or the main decisions, main things you need to look for in a pocket knife before you pull the plug or you make that purchase or you would be shopping for a certain knife. And it could have so many different angles. That's why I think this is going to be a pretty fun show. So before we do that, guys, hashtag 22 day no more, and simply just awareness to veteran suicide. And it simply means that we veterans, we appreciate you. Active military, we appreciate you. And you always have a place here. So without further ado, let's bring my very handsome co-host into the room, Mr. Scab. How are you, buddy?
What's going on, man?
Scabalicious. I like that. I like that a lot.
How are you?
And we did not plan the same shirts. It just kind of happened that way, just so you guys know.
Twinsies.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, listen, bring Jerad in.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm feeling left out. I don't have the shirt.
I think we're going to have to get you a shirt now. Yes, we're going to have to get you the shirt.
Scabalicious and Joe, how you guys doing?
Good, man.
Doing well, buddy.
Hey, here's the deal, Jerad, and thank you for joining us first and foremost, and thank you to everybody in the room. So I called Joe the other day after I talked to you some via text. Here's the thing. I thought about this, and I've asked everybody name 3 things, right? Now, here's what thought hit me today, and I'm going to ask you a question, Jerad, and then I'll pass it off to you. The thought hit me today, if I'm going to be honest, right, is there's a couple things. One is I have to vibe with the knife. I have to like it. So the aesthetics, and then the price, and then the practicality. But here's the thought that hit me today. The things that draw me to a knife aren't necessarily the things that make me love that knife. Okay.
I got you.
So having said that, and now that you've done this for a while, because see, here's I got a bunch of answers, and knife reviewers' answers are kind of different from subscribers. So tell me a couple things you look for in a knife, and then kind of tell me your philosophy behind actually purchasing a knife now.
So one thing in the past that I did was my eye was attracted to things that weren't necessarily extremely useful. Right. And I wound up buying knives and then finding out they were absolute crap when it come to actual practicality, right? So now my brain and my eyes are attracted to the usefulness. So what winds up happening is if it has these little things checked off that I can see make it useful, it just becomes like 10 times more attractive to me. And which is weird because like back, before it was like the normal things that everybody would be attracted to, but then when I'd get them, they just wouldn't pan out. So now it's the things that are super useful. And while some people would be like, well, that's not attractive, or it's not attractive to me. And it's like, but it is to me because I can see how useful it is. I can see how good that thing's going to work. Now, another thing is, like with geometry, right? And little details like lock bar access, sharp range holes and plunge grinds, these little details, if they can check those little boxes, like I'm almost all in. But don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean like that I'm not attracted to the things that are new and in style, right? Everybody sees that thing. It's kind of like you have a bunch of thumb stud knives and now you're looking at hole deployments. So now every knife that comes up with a hole deployment, you're looking at, right? Yeah. And now you're attracted to that. And maybe it has to be your style. So now if you find one that's your style plus with a hole, now you're going to want it. Or maybe it's micarta or whatever. And I go through that too, you know, where it's like, I don't have any of this in the collection.
Do me a favor. Do
Yes,
me a
sir.
favor. Take a minute, because you're the second person in 2 days that I've heard that phrase lock bar access from. Explain that a little bit to me.
So lock bar access is, okay, here's a perfect example. The Spyderco Chef, see this opening right here? Right here? That's lock bar access. So there's access to get to the lock bar to disengage it. Okay. Now, like the Chris Reeves Sebenza, that's a great example of great lock bar access. It doesn't have to necessarily be as much as that, but like if you look at this one, you can see it's got good access. It's nice and comfortable, nice and smooth. So if that's a sharp corner or something, it might not be as comfortable if the lock bar is strong. So what they should do is put access so that since it is sharp, you can go from the side, right? Kind of like a Chris Reeves or something like that. So it's a pet peeve for me to get a knife and the lock bar access be horrible. Like it doesn't necessarily have to have like a lot, but I can't stand when it has none and it makes it to where it's hard to disengage. Like
so then on this Emerson CQC7, yeah, I've got pretty good access there. That's what we're talking about.
Yep. That's good access. Yeah.
And
but I've had some that literally take 2 hands to close because it's so tight. You can't even get your thumb in there. So then you got to go like this and pinch it this way and close it.
Right.
Yeah. That's useless to me.
Yeah. For me too.
So
it drives me nuts.
You said something there as well. And I think everybody in the room is going to differ on this, but I want to hear, what are some of your uses you look for? Like when you look at a knife, what does that knife have to do for Jerad that you're going to get it?
Okay, so one thing, and this is just the way my mind works. So I like the thought of if I had to use it in a bad situation, right? You know, kill a dog, human, whatever, you know, I like the thought that it could do it. But number 2, I like the thought of it being able to cut cardboard, rope, everything. So that's why my most attractiveness is spear point blades, because they're the most versatile, right? If I had to use it for a self-defense situation, I could. And if I need to use it just as an EDC knife and a tool, I can, right? So it's versatile. And then also neutral ergos that are just, I can use it any direction. If I want to turn it backwards and cut towards myself, I can. If I need to go forwards, reverse grip, it doesn't matter. That, for some reason, that type of platform is very attractive. That doesn't mean I don't love Wharncliffes, because I do. And certain Wharncliffes might even be better because, you know, if they're designed right, they'll work just the same for all those situations as well. So if I can find a blade shape and a handle shape that work together, that are good for all those things, where I can do just about everything with it, including it be okay if I got into a shitty situation, then that's what I'm attracted to.
So then deployment has to factor in.
Well, yeah, action is huge for me. I love action. Action is a huge factor. One, obviously, we all want a reliable action, but I like it to be smooth. Doesn't necessarily have to be false shut or anything, but I want it to be nice and smooth. I want it to be fast deployment. I want it to have a good clip. I can't stand a bad clip, because we've all dealt with this, where you have a knife for 2 days and your pants are suffering for it. Can't stand that.
So, okay. So you hit on some things there, and I've got a ton of knives sitting beside me. Now, I want to go over a couple things. And for your subscribers, and for those of you who aren't familiar with our channels, I primarily focus on fixed blades. So I'm going to ask throughout the course of this just some common questions, because I absolutely adore folders. I love them. I carry them. But it's not my thing. And that I started out this review game in fixed. Now I'm trying to go to folders. So as much as I can learn, I'll learn. So here's the thing. When I started out, and I still do this, I do this a lot. As a matter of fact, I just posted a video of a pirate knife from Shade Indonesia. I like the wild stuff. I like the big stuff. I like all kind of stuff, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, this is one of my all-time favorite pocket knives. Now, people say, oh, it's not practical. That's not true. This is one of the most practical knives I've ever had.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the truth is, as the game's gone and as I've gone and I still love my Rajah.
Well, you know what they say, a big knife can do everything a little knife can do, but a little knife can't necessarily do everything a big knife can do.
It's not vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But here's the problem with that saying. It's true, but the problem with that saying is this: if you have to defend yourself with this, they're going to look at you funny. Whereas if you have something a little more, my Spartan Harzy, okay, all right, because if you whip this out to defend yourself, I know, and I've been in this spot where they say, well, you're looking for a problem. No, I'm looking to get out. But as the knife game's gone for me, my tastes have changed. I'll always love my cold steel. I will till the day I die.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how your tastes have changed since you've been doing this.
So like I was saying before, I was attracted to I guess knives that didn't have geometry that were really useful. So like you could even say even just regular drop points that are just super thick and robust and are really good for tough things, but for the most part, like, it's a knife, you're cutting with it. So I would get knives that would be like overly thick. And I never understood it really because I didn't get that deep into it to understand, like, man, why does this thing suck at cutting? Like, it just doesn't pass through anything. It tears everything it cuts. I probably didn't have that good of an edge either. But now, like I said, geometry, it plays a huge factor, and also what type of knife. So before I wasn't paying attention to that at all, but now, like, say if it's a broad blade, right? If it's a broad blade and a flat grind, well, you already know, because it has so long to taper. Like, just for an example, the Best Tech Fairchild, it's a broad blade. It has, even though this is thick and robust, it has a long transition down to the edge. Now, if it's going to be a narrow blade, right? If it's going to be, I don't know if I have one right here. Okay, here's one. This is a thick and robust knife too, but it's a little narrower, but they put a hollow here. So now the hollow grind takes it over the top for me because they didn't have to transition this little tiny short distance down to the edge with a flat grind. Because if they did with this thick of, because this is thick, like, you could pry with this thing. So if you use a knife that thick, you're never going to get down to a good cutting edge. You just won't. It's impossible. It's going to be a pry bar. But when you put a hollow on it, now it works. So depending on the broadness of the blade, depends on the type of grind it's going to have. But other than that, like, I was into, I don't know, really, I guess just like things that looked cool more than they were useful. Like, put it this way, I thought Spydercos were the ugliest thing ever. And when I look at them, I would say, why would I want that? That's got a hole in the blade. Like, am I trying to, like, avoid holes in my blade? It looks weak to me, not realizing that blade shape is one of the most useful blade shapes, right? That the handles and everything, it's designed around a hand and usefulness before it's supposed to look good. So now that's attracting me, because now and that's what originally attracted me to it and wanted to try it, was because I heard that Spyderco is not trying to look good. They're trying to be extremely useful. And that's what they covered. They don't give a shit about the way they look. They care about usefulness. And I was like, okay, I might need to try one of those now,
Well, I just got this Shaman in, and dude, I'm in love. It's in 15V micarta. The first Spyderco I ever had was a PM2.
Yep.
And I never liked it until I owned it. And then I thought, I love this.
Yeah.
And then I got a Yo Jumbo, Scott, over at Big Bore. Dude, but this thing here, I absolutely adore this knife.
And that's a robust flat grind.
That's the model that I like. I like that particular model.
Yeah, they slice so good.
Yeah.
Now, Randy just asked me to ask you, what are your thoughts on slip joints? Do you have any slip joints in your collection?
Yeah, I have probably over 20 different slip joints. I have every single Jack Wolf knife.
Dude.
I also have, a bunch of other ones too. But with me, I'm not the biggest slip joint fan. Don't get me wrong, I love them still. I love the look of them, especially like like if it's almost like a coffin shaped handle with a spear point blade, every time I see that, I like my eye is drawn to it.
Right.
Like I could buy like every single one that looks like that, you know, with the nice bolster, beautiful micarta. So I love them, but practically I don't carry them like I do locking knives, you know. Not that I won't carry them, not that I don't love them, and not that I don't have a lot, but I'm more likely to pick up a locking knife. Like I said, you know, my brain always goes into if shit hits the fan, is it gonna save me? You know, it always goes to that, and I can't stop that. That's just my brain.
Well, and the thing with that is this: embrace it.
Yeah.
There's no need to feel bad about what you like, in my opinion. To get honestly, this whole conversation, this whole topic came up because I got to thinking about it, and I'm sitting there going, I wonder why people buy knives. And so I asked for three things. Well, three things might be a lot because I'm gonna be real honest with you. If I see it, if I like it, I'm buying the sumbitch. Now, that has nothing to do with the thought process of can I use it?
Right.
What I've started doing now, and you're in this situation, Joe's in this situation, and we're blessed to be in it. Like the Jack Wolf stuff. I love the Jack Wolf stuff.
Me too.
Dude, I love every single thing about it. It's awesome. But I've started thinking now, as I've progressed on in this thing, I'm thinking, you know, I want to make smarter purchases. I'm always going to make the dumbass buy. That's going to happen.
We'll always cover that one.
And you know, if I pass a cold steel, I'm going to buy it. I've got more of that stuff. And Isaac, one of the best comments I ever heard was this: if you love a knife enough, you'll make it practical. You'll up your skill set.
Mm-hmm.
You'll do whatever you have to do to make that knife work.
Yeah.
What I've started doing now more is trying to pick knives that will actually work without making it work, if that makes sense.
Yes. Right. Right. Well, with like when you say that, I think of knives that I could obviously use and it would work for the job. But just for an example, right? Like if I have a Persian or a trailing point blade, if I need to cut ropes with that thing, that's the worst blade shape to do that with because it's going to slip. It's going to slip off of the cuts because it's all belly. So trying to pull backwards with it, it's not going to trap that rope, and it's most likely going to take me 3 times just to cut through it. Now, while a Warncliffe, I could snag it, or even like a Hawkbill, I could grab that rope and it's gonna cut no matter what every time. So like things like that is what I think of as the blade shapes that just are not, they're good for certain things, right? Like say that type of blade shape would be good for skinning. So hunting, it'd be good for self-defense, but not for EDC, you know?
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. But that hurts with me because I love a trailing point.
I do too. That's what me too. That's what I was so attracted to when I first got into the community. And that's why I'd grab them and I'd be like, why the fuck is this thing not working that good? You know, why can't I do a utility cut? You know, because you have to lift your elbow all the way up to here to get to the tip.
Well, that's the whole thing is, so you like aggressive knives.
Mm-hmm.
So do I. The thing is this: I think there's a way to carry an aggressive knife without being aggressive.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's something we have to look at. So do me a favor. List, and things come in threes for whatever reason, but tell me your top 3 pocket knives as it stands right now.
No,
there's no way I can do it, man.
You can't answer. I know that.
Then let me rephrase.
I can give you a couple that I really love. I can do that.
Do that.
So not that this is one of those ones that I'm talking about, but the Quiet Carry 9 I think is is one of, if not the best knife of 2023 so far. It's extremely comfortable. It's not a huge knife, but it's also not a small knife. The F22 kickstop, that's another one, and that one's mostly because of the action. The new Ziphius is really good. Right now I'm carrying the Microtech Stitch with the ram lock.
See, I love that.
That's
nice. And you know what? I never realized, because I never got to use one until now. This is an extremely useful blade. Like, I've been breaking stuff down. Like, I broke down a whole bunch of cardboard and I was opening things up. This tip, it has so much precision. And then you wouldn't think, because it's Microtech, that the geometry is really good. Man, it passes through materials really good. If I need to cut ropes, I can get down on it. Like, it doesn't look versatile, but damn it, is it useful.
The hell it ain't. Look, this is a Phobos. This is the Phobos Solaris that is similar to that.
Uh-huh.
This is one of the most versatile knives I've ever used. And that Microtech stitch, I actually did a review on a Borka SB1.
Okay.
That same designer. Yeah.
Yep.
Dude,
Yep.
The stuff that you can do with that, and it gives you that aggressive look.
Yes. Yeah. You could definitely use it for that situation if you needed to. And I really like it's a manual because, I like manuals more than automatics.
Right.
And it's got a very strong lock. Now, I'm going to put that to the test. I'm going to test this steel. I'm actually going to start probably tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to do an edge retention test, and then I'm going to check the lock strength. I'm not sure if I'll break it or not, but I'm at least going to put 200 pounds on it and see if it'll hold.
Okay.
Cool.
See how that goes. We'll see.
Well, and here's the thing too, and I think people need to bear this in mind, because one of the avenues that I wanted to take with this conversation is this, and we talked about cold steel, the overkill. The thing with me is this: what is a satisfactory amount of lock strength for you? Not what can it hold.
Okay, so Demko says, Andrew Demko, who's the master of lock strength, says in order to baton a folding knife, it has to be able to hold 100 pounds. Okay. So I would say 100 pounds.
Okay.
But I have tons of knives that probably won't hold 50 pounds, right? Like, look, the Sabenza, for example, the Sabenza probably won't hold 40 pounds. It probably won't even hold 30. It's known for slipping because the lock bar is intentionally made for that. It's made to slip before it'll break, right? But then you'll take like an Emerson, it's made to break before it slips.
Yeah.
So that's why an Emerson will fucking stand through an apocalypse, but a Chris Reeves will slip. The difference is one will have a broken knife afterwards, the other one won't. But right. If you know that already, then you know not to be injured by doing dumb stuff with it. When you're squeezing it, it's a frame lock, so it's going to be stronger, right?
Right.
So it's not like it's going to fail on you if you had to stab something or anything because you're holding the lock bar. But if you stabbed it into something and stood on the spine of it, it's going to fail,
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this too. Mm-hmm. There was some time ago, there was an ass clown that didn't know what he was doing, took a fake zero tolerance and did a spine whack test, which is the most useless test on the face of this earth. Agree. And it failed. Uh-huh. So this dumb fuck surmised that zero tolerances were no good. Uh-huh. That's why anytime you show a zero tolerance, somebody inevitably will ask you, well, how does the lock hold up? Well, if it's a real zero tolerance, it holds up very well.
Yeah.
And who the hell wants to do a spine? I mean, that serves no purpose ever.
I've never been in the woods and needed to start a fire and batoned and I would just pick up sticks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't get me wrong. I've broken down wood for fires, right? Like in a house. But when it comes to being outside and fending for your life and needing to start a fire, you're not breaking sticks down. You're picking up sticks.
Yeah.
Right. You're not. Why would you take a big piece of wood and break it down? There's sticks all over the damn place. You're just going to pick them up and bundle them up.
That would be like more of in a leisure camping type of trip, where you're just having fun with it, making your own fire. But yeah, in survival, you're just grabbing whatever the hell you can burn.
Well, a lot of times if I baton for a video, like if I want to baton with a pocket knife, I just disengage the lock.
Yes. Yeah. Just hold it like that.
Yeah.
So then there's no stress. Yep.
Right. Yeah. But no, I'm not. I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer in being prepared.
Yep.
If you are in a survival situation somewhere, some prep failed.
That's true.
Now there are extreme incidents and accidents and life happens. So let me throw that in very quickly. Yeah. But if you're in a situation where you're doing dumb shit with a knife, somewhere along the way a bad decision was made.
Something bad's already happened.
Yeah, something's already went to shit. So
yeah, I do like. So there's times you'll see on my channel, I'll take it and I'll spine whack it a few times just to, and I don't do it crazy, but I do it just enough to see like, will it hold up, you know, with little use. And it just shows like
I've
if
done
it's
it.
going to hold up for a thumb, right? Because when you put pressure on the spine, you want to make sure it's not going to fold on you.
Yeah.
So there's times where like I'll do little light duty batoning, but it's just for the video. I'm not saying that you should be batoning with it. It's just kind of because I'm a reviewer. So I
That's
kind of
exactly
need to
right.
show, you know, like what is it capable of? Because I'll be honest, before I did this, almost every knife I had that, because I did construction. So every knife I had, barely any of them survived. Like they
Yeah.
were all broken. They'd snap. I've had locks fail on me 1,000 times. I've even had knives close on my hands before. Like right before I started the channel, I literally bought a Gerber, went to work and broke it that day. I think like 2 days later, I started the channel. So it's like, you know, it's just a normal thing for me to be breaking knives. Not that I didn't, you know, I had a knife collection that I didn't do that stuff with, but with my pocket knife, with my work knife, it was always put to the test. So I understand the mindset of a lot of guys that are on the job, blue collar. They're gonna treat their knives like multi-tools. They're just gonna. Thank you, baby. Oh, she brought me that knife. Still have it.
Oh,
That's
wow. You still
awesome.
got it? That's crazy.
Snapped it
Yeah.
and I put it on the grinder because I still needed a knife for the day.
That's dope.
funny.
The,
That's funny.
Thank you, baby.
the thing is this, because I work in an industrial setting, so I get it. And I'm not saying, like with the reviews and stuff, I'll spine whack here and there, but I always say this is stupid.
Yeah.
But because of where I get annoyed, man, is this. What, you know, if you're a guy in the office, the hell do you need a bomb-proof knife for? I mean, Joe doesn't need a survival knife. He just doesn't. I don't, but I like having. I've gotten to where when I go to work, I take a pocket fixed blade, just because of the sand and the powder eat it up. Otherwise, I would have a folder every day. But bro, I would run through folders left and right because of the sandblasting and the powder coating. It just you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes, and I say that because it's like, choose the right knife, buy whatever knife you want. It's your money. Let me say that up front. But one of the things I wanted to do with this particular roundtable is get some of the myths out of the way and maybe try to help some folk with better purchasing decisions.
For sure.
Because
Absolutely.
we're in a day and age now where money matters.
It absolutely does.
And
it's only going to continue to matter more and more.
So if you got a guy on a budget, if you got a working guy that hits you up and he says, Jay, tell me, I need a couple, what are a couple factors you would tell that guy to look for in a knife?
Well, I would first ask him what he needs it for. What's it for? Because if he's going to tell me I'm using it for work, my choice is going to be way different than if he's just like, I just need a basic pocket knife.
Yeah.
So if he was needing a work knife, I would tell him to go for the CMB Made Knives Predator. And the reason why is it has a crossbar lock, which is known for being very strong. It's right around 50, 60 bucks, 14C28N. Beautiful drop point blade, extremely useful. Like it's everything you need in a pocket knife for like 60 bucks. Now you can go with, and this is if you're on a really tight budget. If you're on a super duper tight budget, and I don't like to promote companies that do copies or anything, but Ganzo does have some copies. They're not clones because they put their names all over them. They brand their names. You know, it's not the design that they're using's knife. Like, you know, it's not a Benchmade or whatever, but they also have a ton of their own designs, like a bunch of them. And those are the ones I always recommend as their own designs, but they make probably the best knife you could buy between $20 and $30, hands down. Like I've tried 1,000 companies' knives between $20 and $30, and Ganzo beats them almost every time. So it's just, you know, they're just great quality. And somebody, to be honest, somebody who's like on the job and just needs a good pocket knife, they're not worried about all those little details, you know, of like, you know, did they do this or that? You know, they're worried. Does it have a decent heat treat? Does it have good action? Does it hold up? Is it solid? You know, things like that. And they knock that out of the park. So
that I run into that a lot with guys that man, they don't care about all the nuances.
No, not like us.
They want it to be there. They want it to be sharp. They want it to last.
Yep.
You know, and a lot of guys that I run into, and I was this way for a long time. You just go to a gas station, pick you up a $10 knife, $20 knife.
I try to veer people away from that because, like,
oh, I do too. I'm just saying.
They will, though. That's what they'll do.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't tell you how many times somebody on my channel has left me that comment. Like, they'll see a $70 knife. They'll be like, fuck, my knife. I could buy 10 of my knives for the price of that. It's like, yeah, but this thing will last longer than 10 of your knives.
Right.
You know,
right. You'll buy 30 of those knives before this one goes.
Yeah. Right.
That's what I'm saying. Try to push people towards quality or more bang for their buck, because everything's going up. And we're not getting into that, but it's just like, I get a lot of guys asking me, I got a lot of guys that watch the channel that work every day. And buying a knife is a necessity.
It's essential.
It's essential.
Yep.
And they don't, they don't have the luxury of going, okay, well, I've got a couple $100. I think that's important. I try to steer them towards knives that's going to last them for a while. And I try to ask them, just like you do, what do you do with the knife?
Right.
If you're over there opening paint cans with it.
Right. It's going to be a different choice, right? You're going to pick something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like if you're like, I had somebody
to a gas station, because if you're just prying cans, but there's certain knives that'll do that.
Well, like if somebody says I'm an electrician, I'm going to recommend them a Hawkbill. Right. Because they're going to be stripping wire and stuff. So like, depending on what you're doing, depends on what type of knife I would recommend for that type of task or duty. Now, a lot of times they're worried about, and this is what happened to me a million times. Like, I couldn't tell you how many knives I've had stolen, lost, dropped, because when you're on the job site, you set things down sometimes, or they'll fall off, like something will happen. Right. Or you'll set it down and walk out, and one of the guys that are on the job site that you don't know pick it up and walk off with it.
Yeah.
So it's a common thing. And I know a lot of them worried about that. So they want, like you said, the best bang for their buck. And I try to steer them in that direction. Like, this is going to be, if you have this much money, this is going to be the best thing you can get for that much money. Now, if you have a little bit less, then this is the best thing you get for that much money. If you have a little bit more, this is the best, because I can say like, oh man, you can get a great knife for $70. A lot of people are like, yeah, that's about 3 times more than I thought I was going to pay.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out where their price range is and what they're comfortable with, and then tell them what the best thing is they can get for that, because after making that purchase, they'll realize like, oh man, this knife is a lot better than these other cheap knives I bought. And then they'll start being curious. Like, if I spent $20 more, what would it be like?
Yeah.
Everybody goes down that path,
Yeah. And we all have.
Yeah.
We all have.
Oh yeah.
Joseph, jump in there, son.
Honestly, I'm just enjoying hearing you guys talk about this stuff, and you guys are way above, basically my my level with this. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I did a video. I actually put out a video about this, and basically it was very hard for me to make a decision, because it depends. For me, it kind of depends on the scenario you're in, or the situation that you're in, or if, like Scab was saying, like, I'm not in an industrial setting. I'm normally cinematographer, photographer. So I'm dressed up in a suit, I have,
right.
I'm not, where I would love to carry, my Formax all day long. I can't carry this around in a suit. Okay.
Right.
I love, a full-handed grip. I love a big fat belly. I love a powerful knife. Okay. I can't carry that.
Carry around dressed up.
Exactly. So now I have never been into slip joints before. Now that goes into also saying, as a content creator, now, Neeves, more than anybody, you're basically getting knives sent to you. You're surrounded by knives that you probably wouldn't have looked at, but since you have them in for review, you're like, you know what? I may not have looked at this knife, but you know what? This is actually pretty cool. And you just you start getting an open mind. As far as knives out there.
I've been shocked at some of the knives that I've been sent that I never in a million years would have bought.
Right.
But then I got, and now if I lost it or something, I would go and buy it.
Right.
Because I like it that much.
Because you like it.
Yeah.
So slip joints. Rosecraft sent me a lot of slip joints. I've never touched a slip joint before. I think the last slip joint I had was like a $110 when I was a kid, and my parents took it away from me because I wasn't allowed to play with knives. But that was like, you know, I was a kid. So I found that now with this slip joint, I'm able to kind of carry this, slip it in my pocket, you know, and it's a very nice, you know, thing to have, a little tool to have if you need to have something in your pocket, in a suit pocket, you need to cut something, nothing crazy, nothing too aggressive.
It's a useful blade shape right there.
I've been carrying this around, you know, and you got that finger choil there and stuff, you know, it makes for a very useful knife.
I look at that. That's all I see. I see pure usefulness looking at that.
A lot of use out of this thing. Would I have ever looked at slip joints before? No. But when you start using them and, you know, getting them in your hand and using them, you realize, hey, you know what? This is perfect for this application. Now, that being said, if I was doing a camping trip or something like that, I'm not taking this. I'll take it as a novelty. You know, I'm going to take my Formax. You know, I'm going to take something that I could baton with it and just beat the shit out of it and not have to worry about it. Okay. Or if you're basically just an everyday carry where you just have to have a knife in your pocket, if you need it, you know, you pick up just basically something kind of zippy. You know, this is the Rosecraft blade, you know, button lock return, you know, very zippy type of knife.
Love that blade shape.
Yeah.
Great blade shape, man. Spear pointish blade. Oh, that's a beautiful blade.
You know, I have yet to review this yet. We just got this in from Rosecraft. Scab, you have one too.
Yes,
so,
I do.
You know, and this is kind of just perfect for me. One-hand operation, perfect. Slip in the pocket, no problem. So it just, for me, it kind of really all depends on where I am, what I'm doing, and what I need it for.
Do you ever wearing a suit? And somebody was asking earlier, like, which one do you like more, fixed blades or folders? And we can answer that. But have you ever carried a small, like something that can conceal very easily, fixed blade in a suit?
Well, see, that goes to my other thing. If I had a choice, and Scab could back me up on this, if I had a choice, if I was allowed, if we lived in a world that we were able to carry fixed blades for me, first and foremost, is going to be what I would carry over any folder any day.
Right.
You know, you put this in your pocket or you put it on your belt. This is going to do anything that you know, basically anything that a folder could do and better. It's solid. It's a fixed blade. Plus, you pull it out, you use it, you put it away, you're done. You know, if I had a choice, I have never carried a fixed blade because it's not allowed in New York State. So I just don't even bother trying to attempt it. If I'm out in the woods or I'm out in the country and upstate New York, I'll carry that around with me.
What about the 2-inch blades? You can't carry the 2-inch blades in New York? Because I know California can. I don't know about New York
whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't matter
because my mind was going towards the clinch pick 2.0, the clinch pick. They actually just made, just so you guys know, they actually just made a new one. It's a double-edged version, the clinch pick 2.0 double-edged. And it goes right in the front of your belt, and it's small, and it almost goes behind your belt. So you have just like a little nub hanging out underneath your belt, and it makes it to where if something happened, your hands are already at your lap. No matter what, your hands are there. You don't hold your hands behind your back when you walk around, right? You hold your hands right here in the front. So your hand is always right there by it. And if something happened, it's nearly impossible to stop you from grabbing that.
Yeah.
Right. Even if somebody's on top of you, and they've tested this where like they had a guy trying to stop the guy from trying to get it, you know, in a car with him crammed and kicking him. And no matter what, he could get to it and he could get to work. Yeah. So, and I really like that. And I actually have,
I got something like that. Actually, I'll show it to you.
Okay. I actually have a design in the works right now with a USA company that it's similar to that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then you need to send me one.
Excuse me?
I said you need to send me one then.
I'm waiting for the prototypes now. And once I get the prototypes, then we'll go into final phases. I'm loving that it's going to be USA made. I just to be honest, the clinch pick definitely sparked because when I tested that, there was things that I wanted different. You know, I really liked the thought of it, but there was things I wanted a little different. So this one's going to be what I would want and what I would recommend in, you know, like a self-defense knife.
Yeah.
And you can obviously still use it for other stuff, you know, but its intention is, you know,
for
that. I have put this
somebody off of
like underneath my jacket.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically you have a good neck knife, put it underneath your jacket, you pull it out and you have something in your hand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is from Eco's Knives. Actually, Carl gave this to me as a gift. Thank you, Carl. But
Beautiful blade.
sharp as hell, and basically, you know, you return it, and it's concealed, and it's good to go. So that's something I would do similar to what you're saying, because this could kind of, you put it underneath maybe like a hoodie or something like that.
Right, right.
Or you close it up in a hoodie, you pull it out, you use it, and that's probably what I would use. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good idea, because you know it is still right there on your front end. So
right.
Yeah.
Is it allowed? Is a different story altogether.
Say that again.
If it's allowed, it's a different story
right,
altogether.
right.
You know?
Yeah, with me, I'm in the Chicago area, so if I'm downtown, the blade length I think is like 2.5 or shorter, so it's like under 3 inches. But outside of city limits, if you're outside of city limits, you can pretty much carry whatever you want. But as far as like automatics and switchblades and things like that, you have to have a carrying permit. So like an FOID, because we have FOID cards here, so you have to have a FOID card, you have to have a carrying permit. So which cancels me out because I'm a felon, so I can't carry those things. Or I'm gonna try to go get it taken off to where I can get my carrying license back, because I used to have it. So I'm hoping I'm gonna be able to do that when I go to court again. But that hinders me from certain blades carrying that I'd carry otherwise.
Wait, I'm sorry. You said you got a permit.
That man.
You have to have. So here in Illinois, in order to carry a firearm, you have to have a permit.
Well, like,
and then. Right. So let me be clear. In order to own the firearm, you have to have a permit. In order to carry it, you have to have a concealed carry license, right? Because we can conceal carry here in Illinois. So in order to have a switchblade or an OTF or anything, you have to have the carrying permit to carry one of these, which doesn't make sense because it's just a knife, but you know, knife laws, right? So in order to have that card, you'd have to not be a felon like I am. Like I used to have one, but I don't now. You know, ever since I become a felon, I don't have that card no more. But I'm gonna try to go and fight to get it back.
Jerry, I want to show you this knife and see what you think of it.
Yeah.
Because I am absolutely in love with it.
What is that?
That is a Survive knife. Damn it. A Survive Knives.
It's a beautiful knife.
Bro, I am in love with this knife. I haven't done a review on it yet. I've got to. This is Magna Cut.
Is it a 5-inch blade?
Yeah, it's every bit of that. Probably. Yeah. It's every bit of that, because my guy JR sent it to me to test out. Survive Knives.
Beautiful knife.
If this thing tests well, it's going to be in my top 3. I like it that much.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's in Magna Cut. He sent this, and he sent a Boosie. I believe it's an SOB, which I'm over the moon. But dude, this thing is just, it's everything. I can't explain it to you.
I think I could tell why you like that. Let me see the side of the handle. No, the thickness in the handle. Yeah, there's a lot of girth in the handle. That's why you like it. Yeah, it's a nice handle.
That's probably a 4.5-inch inner grip.
Yep.
So anybody on the planet can hold it.
Yeah.
Have you? I don't know if you've got any experience with them, man. They're up in damn it. I want to say maybe Pennsylvania, and it's Survive Knives. I am absolutely. And to answer the question, if somebody asks about fixed blades or pocket knives, I carry a pocket fixed blade every day. Every day.
So you carry it in a sheath on a clip?
Yeah, I just put it in my pocket. I have an ulti clip.
It clips to your pocket, right?
Yeah, I have an ulti clip, and I'll put it in.
Gotcha.
Just throw it in your pocket.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But I carry that, or an RMJ, or that RMJ UCAP, the Sneaky Pete, which I got to send back to Keith. I try to carry or Mount Laguna or the Nomad EDC. It's but one every single day. I have a pocket fixed blade on. As far as liking more, you know, I live in Florida, so I can carry anything I want. Really,
that's a good looking knife too.
I love that.
That's the Mount
Laguna.
That thing looks indestructible.
Yeah, this thing is tough, man.
And see, that's the thing with fixed blades. Like that's where it makes sense to me to have the robustness, the thickness, because with a certain, like, don't get me wrong, there's going to be some EDC fixed blades that you want to be mega slicey that are not tough. They're not made for that. They're made for precision. But when it comes to hardy fixed blades, you need them to be thick and robust. You want to be able to pry with them. You want to be able to stab with them. You want to be able to chop with them. You want to think that they could, withstand an apocalypse if you had to carry it. So it makes more sense. Now, where that doesn't make sense is when you give me a lock that can't hold 10 pounds of pressure, right? And it's like, why the fuck is this thing so thick? Excuse my language. Why is this thing so thick? You're going to be pushing it through, you're going to be struggling to push it through anything. And then you're going to have to fight to get it out if it gets stuck. And then the lock fails. So and then also this is a big thing. Ergos have to match the geometry. So like that knife you just showed, right? The ergos look amazing, right? That thing's going to be comfortable in your hand no matter what. But if you give me a little tiny handle that's going to be uncomfortable and then a thick grind, that doesn't make sense because your hand is going to suffer using it, trying to push it through stuff. So that's where like those little things that just, does it make sense? Right? Does the person who designed and make this make it make sense, or did they just put something together and say, here, buy it?
Look at this knife. You see the size of the handle?
Uh-huh.
I mean, if I hold it in my hand, this thing kind of gets lost, and you think it's going to kind of be completely horrible, to hold and have a grip on it. Now, what I had said on one of the points, I said, it's got to be comfortable, but it also has to have a sure grip. I think comfort in the handle and a sure grip go hand in hand, because this, at first glance, you wouldn't think it's good, but when you open it up, look at that finger choil there. Now you kind of have that real estate. You got a little blade where you can kind of do things with, and you can maneuver the point. But if this didn't have that, this would be a horrible knife.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it's basically just a 3-finger grip.
It's a good looking knife though. Yeah. No, that finger choil is what makes it.
The Pocket Monster.
Yeah. I think it's cool.
Rosecraft. Yeah. So it's just a matter, I guess it's just basically in the design of the knife, and then, having it in your hand. I mean, the unfortunate thing, and I think that if we actually had Miss Hope from Syracuse, she has a knife shop in Syracuse. We did that on our last Blade Talk, and she has a knife shop in Syracuse, New York. So she sells Spyderco. She sells a lot of nice knives there. And I'm thinking to myself, if we, there's no knife shops. Especially, around the city, the boroughs, there's no knife shops anymore. You can't walk in to a store other than the Walmarts and whatever they have in there. You can't really physically walk into a store and say, well, I want to see that Spyderco. I want to see that Cold Steel. There's no knife shops anymore.
Right.
So you can't physically take the knife in your hand, hold it, and see if you like it or not.
Yeah. I always look at guys like, even like Stasa 23. He's got a local knife shop. He can go and get to try like so many knives before he buys it. But most of us probably don't have that ability. If you want to feel it, you're going to have to spend that money.
Yeah.
Like the closest thing I have, like there is a place in downtown Chicago, Chicago Knife Works, but there's like the local thing that I have to me right here where I'm at is like a Bass Pro Shop. And they used to have like zero tolerances and a bunch of stuff. Now all they have is Benchmade, and then everything else is like cheap stuff, Gerber, CRKTs, things like that, Schrades, stuff like that. Which nothing wrong with those, but I'm not like, that's not where I'm going to sit there and check out knives,
Yeah.
So,
I'll tell you, the place down here, there's a place, Ace Hardware, and it started. The trend started about 20 miles south of me in this little no-name town called Keystone Heights. The guy who owned that Ace Hardware said, his name's Bill, he said, I want to have the best knife selection in Florida. And Jerad, damn if he don't have it. And it's like one of the few places, but it's 20 minutes from here. It's in the middle of a small town. But then springing out from that, I see a lot of the Ace Hardwares now carrying more and more and more and more, and actually branching out into some. Now you're going to pay more. That's
yes,
you're going to pay $20 to $30 per knife more, right? But they're carrying Hogue, they're carrying Benchmade, they're carrying K-Bar, they're carrying a lot of different stuff, and then of course the CRKTs. But they're also starting to carry some of the newer stuff from Hogue, which it's like now we're getting somewhere. But a lot of times, and I think it's the market and I think it's perception, they carry a lot of the less expensive knives because I think that's all people want.
Yeah. Well, because the people that walk in there, they're not going to come in there and buy $150 knife. So what I would do if I was, if I had a knife shop anywhere, even if I sold other things, I would be online because that's where you can get a massive audience. And then if you do buy those, more, not just premium, but maybe more sought after knives, you're more likely to sell them because you're going to get them to a market that actually is attracted to looking for them. Like, it's kind of like any company right now that gets an MSI or one of these stitches, they're going to sell out.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're the one that has them, right, then they're going to sell out. But if you didn't have this online and you had this in your shop, nobody's going to buy it walking into an Ace Hardware.
No.
They won't, they won't know what it is. Throw it online though, sold.
That's where we're headed. But that takes away too. And I one of the things that I've started to understand, like with the knife reviews, I started out just having fun, right? But what I've started doing now is, and coming more and more to the understanding, I want to show the knife in a way that somebody can look at that knife and go, I want to buy that. That's worth buying. Does that make sense? I want it to, I don't want my skill set or lack thereof to get in the way. So I'm trying to take it a little more serious.
Yeah.
And show some different things because people work hard for their shit.
Sure.
Yes, they do.
And I don't.
And they take it seriously.
Comments a lot. Hey, Jerad, I bought this knife on your recommendation. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever want one. Hey, man, I bought this piece of shit because you said it was good and it's not.
Yeah.
So it matters.
It does matter. It matters a lot.
And I think what we got to realize, there's also a lot of different type of shoppers out there.
Yes.
There are the shoppers that are going to basically collect knives because they just like knives and they just want a collection of knives. So whether they're going to basically, go through a brick wall with it or just carry it or just have something simple to carry every day, if they like the knife, it's good quality, it's got a good styling to it, it's innovative, it's different, they'll want to pick it up. And then you have the people that, work with their knives, they work with their hands, and they need a good, reliable knife. Yep. Their knife broke. All right, let me shop around. I need to have a couple of knives on backup, and they want to have that type of knife. So I guess you got to kind of try to appease every audience for the most part. If it's
you should try to get every corner. And there's also going to be the guys that are going to spend a whole week picking out what knife they're going to get.
Right.
Like they know they want a knife. They don't know exactly which one. So they're going to investigate, right? They're going to watch the videos, watch the reviews, go and look up at prices and shop around and do all their due diligence to make sure that not only are they getting a good knife, but they're going to get the best deal. And I remember being like that. I remember taking literally sometimes a week and a half to pick out a knife. I knew I was getting a knife, had the money. I know what, but this is how much I got. So since I have this much, what's the best thing I could get for this much? Start watching all these other knife channels and listening to their recommendations. And sometimes what would happen is 3 channels would be recommending the same thing. And it's like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. It seems like these 3 guys all agree that this is a great knife,
So here's something talking about people sending you a knife. This knife got sent to me, and I know the lighting sucks, but it's an SOG Seal XR, and that's not a knife I would have bought.
Yeah, that's a great knife.
But I absolutely love this damn knife.
I know. It's a tough son of a bitch right there.
Dude,
I was so surprised when I got my hands on that thing. I was like, wait a second, this is a SOG?
Yeah. I can't put it down. I've sat here literally and played with this the whole time, and I would have never bought it. It's in CPM S35VN. I just love the damn knife.
Strong as hell, too. It's got a nice lock on it. And you know what? I got to give SOG credit for this because so many companies have failed this thing, and that is making a crossbar lock with a detent. The detent on that is great. Like you're just flipping it with the flipper tab. How many crossbar
good.
locks have flippers? Almost none of them have flippers. And the reason why is because it's so hard for them to figure out how to tune a detent with a crossbar lock. SOG figured it out.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Now, answer me this question. Why does this matter to people?
The fall shut? Because if it's tight, so if the pivot is tight and it'll drop, then that means that they did their work making the tolerances so tight that it's perfect. Because like if they have to make it too tight to where it's really slow, it's not that that's a big deal. It's just that it could have been more perfect, right? That's the thing. It could have been more perfect. So if you sorry, go ahead.
No. So it's kind of a nuance thing. It's showing their skill set and appreciating intolerances, because if they can fit, because remember, it has to be able to have no play. That's the point. If it has play, then who cares if it falls shut?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if it has no play and it falls shut, that just shows like the tolerances on both sides are perfect, right? And then if you can get it centered too, holy cow. Like you're checking off boxes that the company did in order to make it perfect.
So that's okay. So and I'm not saying this smart. People think
it's
I'm
fun
smart.
too.
I'm not. It's trying to learn because and for those of you who don't know me, understand I've come from a background of just kind of using them for work. I love my fixed blade, but I want to understand so I can do a better review on why it matters.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's the
easy thing to do is this. And the one thing I wanted to avoid tonight was this, and even though it's true, the easy thing to do is go, well, knives are subjective, everybody's different, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Well, okay, but there are some things that do matter.
Yep.
And that's kind of why, like, when I watch a lot of your channel, I don't say much, but I watch. And so I try to learn the different nuances of the drop shut. Now, I do understand this because I have been stabbed. So I do understand that you want to pull, if you need a knife.
Yeah.
And what's hilarious to me, this always gets me. I got it 3 times a day. Somebody wants to mention what they'll do with their gun. Well, one, if you're online talking about your gun, you ain't gonna do shit. Because I got a bullet hole down there too. That's just fact. That's just fact, tough guy. Because you can pull it all day long.
Yeah.
You got to pull that sumbitch. All right. I got a hole in this leg from it. But my thing is this. I don't want a knife where I'm doing this if you're running at me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I want that bitch to go, okay.
But you know what? It also is the same way on the job. Like, and I've spoke about this, like, when I was working at the distillery, there were so many times where the thing I have to cut is in my hand.
Yes.
Right. I'm not getting down. I'm not climbing down. I want to pull out my knife, snap it out, make my cut, still holding the thing, fold it back up, put it in the pocket, and then get back to it. Or maybe I'm going to make multiple cuts, right? But then I want to be able to close it and then use this hand like this with the thing held in my thumb, right? And I would do that all the time, all day at work. So for it to close like really fast like that, that was so important to me just to get it out of the way because I'm cutting and I don't want to put it down. I just want to get it out of the way so I can use this hand real quick. Pop it back out, make my cut, fold it back up, move the thing, whatever I have to do. So
now, see, that's big with me. That's actually, Jerad, if we broke it down and we said, okay, well, we know what factors go into purchasing the knife. This is the factors that make me keep this knife. This is a knife I'm going to carry for this reason.
Yep.
That's a huge one.
Yes.
Because that can be, and without being too dramatic, on a job site, well, shit, it happened today. I was trying to open a 4,000-pound bag of sand. I'm up under it. It's on a forklift. I don't have time. I'm holding it steady.
Right.
The knife I had in hand today, I was able to cut it, close it. I've got my hand here. I'm still holding the sand, and I put it matters.
It does.
And it matters to a working guy.
Yes.
Because
and I used to say that all the time.
And it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
I had a guy in my comments saying like talk against that. He said, I've never been in a situation where I was worried about how fast my knife closes. I said, well, guess what? I'm in that situation every single day. And I was talking about at the job I was working at the time, because every day I would use my knife. Every day I would be using my knife while one hand is busy. Right. So it was just a normal thing. And then, I've been in trees and done like so much in construction and everything, where it's like, it's a safety thing as well, because just because I'm pulling this knife out, I don't want to have to put this thing down now, close it up, because I might not be able to. I might be holding something up against a wall 30 feet high, right? I want to make that cut, get that son of a bitch out of the way, in the pocket or whatever, so that now I can get back to work. And that can be like so important, and also a must. Like I said, at the job that I was at, that was a must.
Well, you just kind of answered the question, because knives are purpose driven.
Right.
Okay. They're completely purpose driven. So if you have, like in your particular scenario where you have to have a hand free and you have to have two hands when you need them and still be able to have access to that knife at all times, then that's a purpose driven knife. And there's a certain, then the detent, the drop close, that it becomes important.
Yeah. Even think about a utility blade, though. A utility blade goes open and close with just a thumb.
Sure.
Right. Obviously, because if it just went open and then stayed that way, and you had to take, two hands to do it, it'd be a shitty situation on a job. Right.
Right.
Especially if you're on a ladder.
Yeah. Especially on a ladder. Yeah.
And it does, your sheetrock guys, all those guys. I mean, those are things that matter. Those are things that matter. And that's as important to me. And that's one thing I do try to incorporate into a pocket knife review, is all throughout that some bitch, I'll open and close it with one hand.
Yeah.
Because it matters.
It does.
Now, if I'm out camping or doing whatever, and I want to take one of my bigger ones, that's fine. That's at your leisure. But in an emergency, it does matter. It really does.
And the speed of which it comes out. I've spoke about this. I spoke about this in the past, where I was doing tree service, tree removal, and I was up in a tree. And you know how when you're cutting trees, you tie off the branch, so that you can pull it the direction you want. Sure. Well, it's completely my fault that this happened. But I had my knife on me. I was up in the tree, and the rope was like halfway wrapped around me. Right. So when the cut happened and the branch went down, and then it was wrapped around me and like snagged in the tree. So like it just grabbed me and started ripping me out of the tree. And I was strong enough to hang on for a few seconds, long enough to get my knife out and cut the rope. But if I didn't have that knife, there's no way I wouldn't have been ripped out of that tree. 100% out of 100 times, I would have been ripped out of that tree. I was hanging on for dear life, like struggling. And thank God my brain went right to my knife. I cut it, thing fell, and I was fine. But if I didn't have that fucker, and if I would have had to use two hands, I couldn't. My arm was, I was hanging on for dear life. So there's no way I can, then cut it. There's no way that would happen. I'd been dead. So, and maybe not dead, but I'd been fucked up pretty bad.
Yeah.
You'd have had a nasty head wound.
Oh man. Yeah. I'd have been cracked up pretty damn good.
Bro, yesterday I was out in the swamp. I was actually not paying attention, and I was doing this knife, the pirate knife, being a smart ass. So I do the Captain Morgan pose and go to turn the damn camera off. Bro, I trip. I hit so hard.
Oh.
If I would have had back teeth, they would have got crushed.
Oh man.
Bro, I just laid there. I just laid there and counted ants crawling under me. I thought, oh my God, dude. I was able to get this away from, and I thought, you dumbass.
What is that?
This is the pirate knife from Shade, Indonesia. Dude, it's wicked.
Yeah.
It's here's the thing, man. I am the guy's name is Shany. Shany. Shade, Indonesia. He makes some of the craziest sharp. This is 5160 in rosewood. Yeah. So he uses solid materials. His heat treat spot on. Bro, he makes shit that's just indestructible. This is a 7-inch sharpened swedge.
Oh, it's sharpened.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's sharp as shit. Joe has a couple of his pieces as well. The thing is, man, it's just fun. And that, see, to me, that's part of buying a knife too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we can, you know, I can bullshit with the best of them about, oh, I need this for work and sell and all that shit. But I just want to have fun with it too. I want to go out and hack and crack and chop.
Every time I get a fixed blade in my hand like that, the I don't know, the Neanderthal in me comes out, and I just
let me get you a Neanderthal knife. Hold on, I'll be right back. Let me get it for you.
All right. But I'll even just, once it gets in the hand, you know, you're doing a spin, you're weighing it out. It's like you start checking the balance, right? You start checking the balance, you start feeling it out. It's like, all right, something's getting fucking cut right now.
Dude, this is from Carnivora. Now there's a design house called Carnivora. Are you going to be at Blade?
Yeah.
Then we've got to hook up.
Yes, we definitely will.
All right, Carnivora. This was made by Tim Ellis. So we had the Pirate knife. This is the Trench Panther.
Trench Panther?
Trench Panther.
What a name.
The idea was based on a World War I trench knife.
Okay, that makes sense.
This thing is, dude, it's just this is the kind of stuff, this is why I like fixed blades, honestly. And this is why I live in Florida, because I'll put this on my belt this weekend and stroll all around Green Cove Springs.
Right.
Chopping shit up.
I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous. I want to move to Florida so bad.
Take a look at that,
dude,
take a look at that,
bro.
This is the Nidhogg, right? Scab, the Nidhogg. Yeah. But I gotta tell you, Scab used this a lot, so the edge dulled a little bit. I put my own edge on this thing. This thing is paper cutting sharp.
Do you use a two-hand or one or both?
It can be both. It can be a two-handed. I'll try to get in the camera here. It can be a two-handed grip. So you can use it as a short sword.
Yeah.
But it's comfortable enough where you can really tighten up on it with this finger choil.
Oh, yeah. It's got an opening there too.
Or if you want a little more basically, heft in the swing, you can kind of hold it back. But you can absolutely hold this thing with two hands.
Hey,
you gotta love
Jerad, that thing
is crazy.
Bro, that thing is so sharp. I've got a short where I cut a water jug like 6 times.
Wow.
Before the thing, seriously.
Yeah.
And then Joe brought it back to like hair popping, crazy sharp.
I don't know if I have any paper. Hold on.
But that's, yeah. Those guys, when we meet up at Blade Show, we'll walk over to Carnivora just so you can check some of the shit out, man. Dude,
I can't think of who they are, but I'll say this: when I was at Blade Show, Texas, I ran into somebody's booth that had these nasty fixed blades. Like, and as soon as I got up there, I put it in my hand and I just started. I can't be grabbing knives like this because I'm gonna start chopping things just sitting here because it's just, man, it's just like in our nature, you know.
Oh, I've got something over there. It's called the Thor Warhammer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, the Thor War Cleaver, where it's just nasty. It's about, well, shit, hold on. Now we're talking. Now, their whole goal, Jerad, was to make fantasy functional.
Right. The real deal, right?
Yeah.
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 Like,
that's
all
awesome.
the stuff, and that sharp, all the stuff like when we were kids and we go in the cigar shop and they had all the stuff, but it was all crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is all 5160. He's got some 3V stuff. Wow. This stuff right here, bro, is just wicked. It's fun. That's the whole.
Do you know about how much they run from him?
It depends on which piece. This one, because they're custom and they're hand forged, this one's around $400 or $500. Okay,
that makes sense.
So it's not like, oh my God, I can't afford it type deal.
Yeah.
But Shaney, I'll say this to you. Shaney is worth getting a piece from. Yeah. Because it's indestructible and it's well done. That's and that, like that pirate knife. I think Don Moore Kramer, I think he's the designer there. But bro, I get that. I make all the meth crafters run when we go in the swamp.
That's
In
hilarious.
a hurry, son. They know the crazy knife guy's coming, and we're coming with it.
Yeah.
And people, you get this a lot too. Well, they got a gun. No, they don't. They sold the gun to get meth. I ain't worried about the meth.
Yes,
Head.
they did.
You know
They
what
did
I'm
not
saying?
have the gun. No, they sold it. Yeah, for
It's
sure.
gone.
And you don't, to
they
be
might
honest,
have a broken bottle.
I think when anybody thinks so, I don't think I mean, maybe some people would be different, but I think for the most part, most people, if somebody was standing there with a gun or somebody was standing there with a machete and had the intentions to kill, the machete just kind of sounds a little bit scarier.
Yeah.
Because it's more personal, right?
Yeah.
They're not. It's not going to take shots and miss.
Right.
When they come at you, it's gonna hit you, and you're gonna be in a fight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I can see that.
Personal.
I can see that.
With a gun, you can kind of run, and hopefully the shots don't hit you.
Yeah.
They're not gonna miss with the machete.
No. No. And you kind of don't want them to, because you don't want to get nicked with one.
Right.
You might as well hope they end it.
Yep.
Well, hey, man, love having you on. I don't know how much further you want to go. I do want to say this. I don't know if Joe told you, and I want to make sure that everybody knows. Joe, why don't you do it? You put in the work. Tell everybody who we're having on.
Well, I put out posts before this. I'm assuming a lot of people saw it, but I've been working actually for a year now to try and get Ernest Emerson on from Emerson Knives. That's awesome. Finally we hooked up. I spoke to him on the phone probably last week, and I just set up with his secretary. So he's coming on to Blade Talk on this channel tomorrow at 8:30.
Very cool, man. Good for you guys.
Yeah, so very excited about that. That would be cool.
Yeah,
so
I've only gotten one of his knives. I got one. I do want to get eventually a sheepdog. I actually made a video talking about how this knife, we talked about it earlier, this kind of fits the bill for me for that sheepdog that he has. It's just, it's similar. It's titanium. It's really badass. But I love the sheepdog. But the one I do own is I have the A100, and I like it. I like it,
dude. I love that's one I want.
Yeah, and that's like a multi-tool knife right there. That's a multi-tool, 100%. You can open your paint cans. You can punch holes in things, and then you can also slice. So,
why I like. The thing is, and I'll tell him this, but the thing about him is, I was watching the video, and he didn't say it like macho, and he didn't say it like badass, and he was just honest. He was talking about training, and he said, at the end of the day, I just like to fight.
Yeah.
And I thought, it was the way he said it, because it wasn't a tough guy thing.
Right.
It's just like, that's a dude I can get along with.
Yeah. No, I agree. Because I think a lot of us, not all of us, but I think a lot of us have that instinctual in us to where, like, it's kind of like the saying, like, you walk into a room with another man, your brain instantly talks to yourself and says, could I kill this guy? Yeah. Like even if you're no bad intentions or anything, you might like the guy, right? You would never hurt him, but your brain automatically says, would it be a struggle? Could I do it? All these things. And I think that we have that in our nature, and there's a reason why jiu-jitsu is so popular, boxing and things like that. It's not for anger. Nobody's in there wanting to hurt each other. They're in there having fun. It's a sport. It's fun. It's like playing basketball, but just, against two humans, and at the most, I don't know, like the most carnivore type of way, where you strip everything away and it's just me and you. And I love that mindset too. I think that's awesome. I'm attracted to men that have that mindset too,
Was it General Maddox that said, be polite, but have a plan to kill everybody?
Right. Yeah.
Which
be friendly, but be dangerous, right?
We'll misread that, and somebody watching this will misread that, but it makes sense.
Well, people want to be friendly, right? You want to be friendly, but you want to also be dangerous, because it doesn't matter if everybody can be friendly, but not everybody can be dangerous, right? You can be the friendliest guy in the world, and it doesn't matter if you're like, well, I'm a lover, not a fighter, or I wouldn't hurt a fly. Yeah, no shit, you wouldn't hurt a fly because you can't, right?
Right.
Like you're talking like it's a big deal that you can't hurt. Of course you're not gonna, right? But another guy knows he can, right? So it's just like a different mindset. Like, not that I want to, not that I'd ever want to. I want to love everybody, but if the time came and I had to, I absolutely could, and I think we all want to have that ability at the very least, and the mindset is where it starts.
Yeah, it's the potential to do so.
Yeah,
you have the potential.
Well, same thing goes with your family, right? Like anybody can say, like, "Oh, I'd protect my family through this." Would you? Right? Would you? Right? Like it's like you can say you would or could, but actually could you? Right? And I think that I think some of us just know deep down in our bone, like no matter what, we'll die trying. Like even if we couldn't do it, we're gonna fucking die right there then trying. And I think that's a very honorable way to think, to know, because that's our duty, right? As men, we're supposed to protect our loved ones around us, women and children, and that's our burden, right?
That's what you're supposed to do.
You're damn right.
And be a gentleman while doing so.
Right.
I'm a firm believer in that.
Me too.
That's like Joe. Joe has the most punchable face on YouTube, so he has to be able to fight.
I guess if I have the most punchable face, I'm going to be running into trouble. Yeah, right, Scab? So what's your plan for Blade Show, buddy? What do you what's your game plan? Do you have a game plan?
I do have a game plan. Unlike last year, I did not have a game plan, and it went all wrong. Because I didn't have a game plan, because I had never been there. That was my first show ever, and I didn't know what to expect. I had seen videos, but I really didn't know what to expect. Now I know every detail. I'm going to get in early. So that I can actually film the doors opening. I'm going to try to get as many interviews as I possibly can the first day. Try to get as much filming as I can, so that on the second day I have very minimal filming to do, and then the rest of the time I can enjoy myself. So anybody who sees me, come up to me. It doesn't matter if I'm recording or not. Come up. I'd love to talk to you. Don't hesitate just because I'm recording. It doesn't matter. I'd love to talk to you. If you see me doing an interview, just wait till I'm done with the interview. But yeah, no, I'm. That's my plan of attack. I don't have a specific item I'm going to buy. I tend to kind of wing it in that regard, just because even though I'll be in there early, I'm not going to go and try to take somebody else's chance to get something, like when the doors open and I can buy, I'll buy at that time. But I'm mostly worried about filming. And the reason why is because I shit the bed in Texas. I lost all the footage because there was no sound. The sound got corrupted. So what happened was I got the footage from Tactile, but then all the footage from the show was all, and I found out what happened because there's so many frequencies going on. I was using a lapel mic, and the frequencies from everything going on, it messed with it. Yeah. And it just completely corrupted it. There was no saving it at all. So I felt like, man, this was a damn waste. Like I spent
That's
so
good that
much
you mentioned
money.
that, because I was going to bring a radio mic. I'll just bring a pair of headsets and make sure it's coming through.
Well, what I did now was I bought a whole new lapel mic set. So this lapel mic doesn't have different channels. It's just the one channel that goes to the receiver, and that's it. And it's supposed to prevent that. But the other one I had was more affordable, had a bunch of different channels, and supposedly those are the worst ones for shows. But I didn't know that beforehand. So I brought literally the worst kind you could bring to a show. So now I got a good shotgun mic, and I have a great lapel system that I actually, and this is a really cool system because it's a lapel mic that you can also put onto, like the microphones, like a newscaster would have.
Was it Rode system?
Yeah, exactly.
Rode system. Rode system. Yeah. I have a Rode system.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
And it's
you picked up that thing from Amazon, right? Like the microphone attachment.
I got the entire setup, literally every wire, every detail to it, because I was like, this is not happening to me again. Because I felt like, man, like if this happened, like this trip costed this much money, right? I not that the Tactile thing didn't go well, because it did. I went and recorded a Tactile, but the entire show, it's just a wash. So it's like, damn it, I got to make up for this. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to invest whatever it takes into this microphone, because I cannot afford to lose Atlanta. And it's just a part of the game. You guys know, it's just a part of the game. Sometimes things happen and there's nothing you can do about it. So you have to learn from those little tiny mistakes that mean so much, so that it doesn't happen in the future, because there's going to be times where, like, yes, that's bad that it happened there, but it could be worse, right? like Atlanta. Like if it happened in Atlanta, that'd be even worse.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad it happened there so that it doesn't happen in Atlanta, because Atlanta is so much bigger than Texas.
And this particular show is going to be a monster.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Like,
gonna be, so many people are going.
it's like
so many
it's
people
been venting up and building up. You know, you had the pandemic. A lot of people didn't go. It's been building up with a lot of people didn't go for a number of years.
Yeah.
This show is going to be a freaking monster.
Yes, it is. This is going to be probably the biggest show ever, if not for a long time. Because, like you said, the pandemic happened. Then when it opened up the next year, you know, some people were struggling with money, you know, so they weren't able to go. Now we've had time, everything, you know, so it's going to be badass.
This is my first one, and I'll be honest with you.
Ever?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Me and Joe.
You're going to love it.
Me, Joe, and Donnie are going.
Yeah.
And you know, honest dude, and I say this not because we're on here. I forgot we were kind of going live, but I'm really looking forward to meeting you. I'm really looking forward to meeting people in the community. Honest to God, I don't know how much I'm gonna film. I just want to kind of go and hang out and meet people and enjoy it. I may and get my feet wet, and then maybe you know at the next one, kind of.
Well, you know you're not going to film a lot because you know I'm going to be filming a lot.
Yeah, and Joe's going to do most of it.
So yeah,
I'm just kind of the star, so you know, I'll walk
it's
around. It's
not bad to have a team. I'll tell you what, it's not bad to have a small team. Like
I got a plan in play, man. You know, I got a whole rig set up. Cage rig with the freaking, and I'm taking a freaking iPhone to do this.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Nice and portable.
Yes.
You know, I have a whole cage rig, the lights, the mic, everything, one flat thing, ready to go.
Yeah, if you can have two things like that, like if you can have an actual camera setup and a phone, you know, you can kind of mix and match, you know, because you can get other little things. Because there are so many times where it's like, man, this would be just so much better if I had a phone right now. We use the camera for 90%, and then we're going to film like short form content on the phone, and also because I build my thumbnails on the phones too. So I'll take my photography and all that on the phone, take some short form content on the phone, but then on the camera, do all the big, you know, content. And yeah, dude, I now that, you know, like, I've been doing this for so long, I really enjoy the filming. I enjoy the whole thing. But with the show, it is tough. You know, it's tough to film, enjoy yourself, and do all that. But like I said, if I do it the way I planned, because last year what happened was I went and I didn't film the first day. I said, I'll film on the third day. That's what I said. I'll film on the third day. Well, that was the worst thing I could do, because on the third day, everybody's tired. Everybody's pissed. Everybody's done. Like, these guys have been standing at the show for 3 days now on their feet. They have blisters. Their mood's starting to swing. So a lot of their knives are gone. So now it's like, now the table's empty. And I'm like, damn it. Like, why did I wait till the last day? Of course, this is the way it's going to be. But if you catch them on the first day, they're fresh. Everything's out there. All the products are out there. You know, they're happy-go-lucky. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. And you'll realize, because that's one thing I didn't realize either, how bad your feet are gonna hurt. Your feet are gonna hurt.
I stand up all day, so I'm okay there.
I understand. I think it's because you're walking in like so many different directions, right? Like, it's not like you're just standing there. You're walking and then turning. So
you probably, and again, I've never been, and you can answer this. You probably find yourself moving way more than you ever thought you could. Does that make sense? Like I walk a lot during the day, but I can imagine at a show that big, people pulling you this way and that, and meeting people, and before you know it, you haven't sat down in 6-7 hours, and you go, holy shit.
Yeah.
So
especially when you think about it,
I'll take some different.
If you need to use the washroom, you're gonna walk about a block.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like it's hard to consider how much walking you're gonna do, because there's so many tables. And there's aisles, obviously, but then there's aisles on aisles. So there's so many twists, turns. Then there's different rooms.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, talk a little bit about the rooms real quick. I know we're going along. That's okay. People got nothing better to do.
Cool.
Tell me about the rooms, because somebody else mentioned that to me.
There's the main room, which is the big room. So when I first went, I didn't even know there was other rooms, right? Because the main room is so big. You can't imagine like anything being bigger, right? So that's the big room, but then there's 2 other rooms. So you can go, it's basically like right next door. So you got to walk out, then walk down like the hallway, and then there's other rooms. And those other rooms in some cases have the companies that you want to see the most. Because and you don't realize it because it seems like it's kind of off to the side, and but that's just where they got their table. So you have to consider those other rooms, because I was so mad that it took me a while to even discover that there was another room, because by that time it was like, oh man, like I didn't even know, like I wanted to film over here and all these things. So, and then there's the pit. So you have the pit that's going to happen at night. Yeah, and the pit's going to be a big party. It's going to be fun. It's basically it's like a bar that's in a courtyard that's in the middle of a hotel. So you can like see up all the floors of the hotel, and you're in the middle of it. And it's just a big party room, and everybody's going to be in there. People are going to be drinking, having a good time, taking pictures, just bullshitting. And it's a lot of fun. You meet a lot of people. You get to hang out with just about everybody. Most of the people are going to be there. So that's the time when you can say like say if you run into somebody and you're filming or you're busy or you're trying to buy something or whatever, you can be like, hey, are you going to the pit tonight? If so, I'll meet up with you there. And then we can sit here and have a conversation. But because I try to stop and talk to everybody I possibly can, but there's so many tables that I don't care what you do. It's not going to be possible for you to see everything.
Yeah.
It's just not.
I think we have, possible. I mean, we kind of have like a set tables that we know that we have to kind of hit. That's it. Like we'll hit those. And once those are done, then there's room to just, all right, let's float around here. Let's float around there. Yeah. But yeah, I can understand that, because you know what? Being on YouTube, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to recognize you before you ever recognize them.
Yeah. And that's why I tell them, just come up to me.
So it's going to be, you're going to be basic, and it's going to be fun. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I really,
what else happens? You know what else happens? You will be like, and this happened to me both times. I'm looking for an exact thing, right? And I'm looking all over for it. I cannot find it, but I'm right next to it. I'm literally right next to it. The thing is the people are surrounding it and covering up.
Right.
So you will walk the show 7 times and then walk down the same aisle for the 7th time, and then be like, I didn't know this was right here on this corner, because it was so packed the 7 times you walked by it. So there's things that'll literally just be like, almost like it just grows out of nowhere,
Shane Gable said that same thing. Shane said he called Sawtooth Dave. He was trying to find Sawtooth, right? And he said he's talking and he's looking, and there's another dude on the phone, like 2 people in front of him. And it was Sawtooth turns around and they're looking at each other. But he goes, dude, there's so many people that he said, he goes, bro, he said, I stood kind of in the vestibule for a good bit of the time and just caught people coming in.
Yeah.
As far as, like meeting up with other content creators.
Right.
Yep. He goes, because, bro, when you go in there, he said, there's so many people moving towards, and he said certain tables you're just not going to get to unless you've got a.
Now, you're not bringing any knives with you, right? I mean, you're flying, right?
Well, last year, what I did was I do fly, but I just load them under the plane.
Oh, you check-in bag.
Yeah, I'll just check my bag. But this year, I probably won't bring as many as I did last year. I'll probably just bring like one pellet, one good Pelican case full or something. Maybe leave a few spots open so that I have stuff to buy. But for the most part, the stuff I buy is going to be in boxes or pouches, so I can just throw them in my bag. I try to leave a little bit of room in the bag so that I can fly back with it. I wound up having last year, what I do, I had the knife mailed to me because I had sent in a knife to get reground, and I had it mailed to me there.
Really?
Yeah, because I wanted it for the show.
Yeah, that's dope.
It was this knife right here.
I see. That's going to be my problem, figuring out what knife to take.
The Spartan Harsey folder with the hollow grind.
Bro, oh, no shit.
Oh, I love it, man. It's so, dude, this thing is so slicey now. And it's still robust. The spine is still robust. So it's not like it's not still robust, but it's like 10,000s behind the edge now. So now it's a mega slicer.
Bro, I
$60.
absolutely love my Spartan Harsey, but a hollow grind on that would be dope.
Yeah. $60 BGM knives. It takes 1 week.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
That's not bad
at all.
Not bad.
And he does a perfect job.
I asked Mr. Bill last month if he was going to make it, and he said it didn't look like it health wise, but I was really hoping to hang out with him some, Mr. Harsey.
Yeah.
But I do want to get, now that you said that, I do want to get that hollow grind on this.
His son was in Texas. I seen him, and I didn't know it was his son till he said it. But so what he does is he takes his dad's knives and he customizes them. So he takes some of his dad's models, the Harseys and stuff, and then he redoes them himself into like different designs and things like that, different anos, whatever, and resells them. And he had some badass ones.
That's
like
cool.
Designs you've never seen before. Like things you're not going to get unless you buy it directly from him. Yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah.
That's dope, man.
Yeah. There's so many things like that too, man. It's just like there's so many unique things. And also there's so many dealers that, I don't know what shops they have or anything like that, because it's not like a Blade HQ or a Knife Center. They're just some shop, but they have knives that you're like, how do you have one of these? You're looking at it like these things are so sought after. How do you have 3 of these, right? And they'll have them in display and they're for sale. You can buy them, but you have to walk up. So if you don't walk up, it's not like you're seeing them online and you're going to know they have them. So you almost have to walk the booths to see, like, holy shit, they have one of these and it's the one that I want, and that's going to happen to you 1,000 times.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's where the Hope, the lady we were telling you about in Syracuse, that's where she's kind of hoping to be in a few years, to have a booth and to have some of those things that you can't get. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of her goal. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be dope. Listen,
so awesome. Yeah, like I said, this is going to be the best one yet. There are so many people going too. Like almost everybody I know that has a channel is going. Like a lot of my moderators, they're going. There's people in here right now. They're all going. Like I can think of so many people that are going to the show that I've never met before, and I can't wait to meet. Can't wait to hang out with them. We got a house full of people, because we got our Airbnb a year ago. We weren't fucking around. We wanted to make sure that we had a nice place, nice and big. And so
done.
Yeah, because last year we stayed in the ghetto.
That's nice. Probably what we're doing. I just hadn't told Joe yet.
So. All right.
I've been in worse places. That word. As long as we hit the show, I wasn't worried about it.
I wasn't worried about it. We're going to spend more time in the freaking show and just getting there to go to sleep. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to.
No, that's exactly what it's going to be. And that's why I denied any of the, like a bunch of knife companies contacted, like, hey, you want to go out to dinner on Thursday night, Friday night, whatever, Saturday night? No, because by the time the show's done, I got to go to the pit and hang out with my friends, and your feet are so you don't want to plan things. Like you can plan certain things, but do it while you're there, kind of on the fly, because you don't realize like how tired you're going to be at certain times. And you're like, man, I do not want to go and do this right now. I want to go and take a break. Right. And if you continue, keep going, you're going to be shot the second day. The second day, you're like, even like cue ball last year, his feet swelled up. Mine, I had blisters on my, it's inevitable. So you want to be able to hang out with the people that you love, your friends and stuff like that. And it just doesn't make sense for me to make plans with knife companies that, that I'm probably going to break plans on,
Yeah.
Because it's just, it's just too much, like to be able to go to a show, go the whole day and then leave and go have dinner.
Yeah.
Like so last year we went on the last day, we went and had lunch with everybody. So like a bunch of us got together, went and had lunch, Stas, a bunch of us. Like it was really cool. But that was perfect because it's the end, we're all together and it's like, let's go eat lunch right now while we're all just together. We'll plan it, everybody show up here. And it was it was perfect the way it went, because by that time, say 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, you've already been there 2 days. And now it's halfway through the day. You're tired. You're ready to go eat lunch. Like you're ready to go get off your feet. You've seen everything. You've done everything. Like there's almost no more to see. And if there is, which there is more to see, you don't care. Like you're done. You're at that point where like I've seen too much, and like I don't care about what's around that corner anymore.
So you getting there before Friday?
I'm getting there Thursday.
Oh, you are getting there Thursday. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to get there early because it's just so much easier so that I can wake up and go right to the show. Also, you want to get there Thursday because you want to be able to get your tickets early. You can show up and you can get your tickets the day before so that you're already ready. That's the way we do it. The early bird specials or whatever, you got to get them the day before.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then because when you get there, there's fucking guys that have slept in the bushes for 2 days. I'm not joking. Like, I had friends last year and they were like, yeah, I've been here for like, a day and a half since last night, like overnight, slept in the bushes, brought, stuff basically to camp out on the sidewalk so that they could be the first one through the door for their co-inagarius or whatever.
All right.
And I mean, and they're devoted. And I'm not talking about 10, 12 people. I'm talking about there's probably 75 to 100 people that are going to do that.
Yeah.
That are just, so the line is going to be probably 3 blocks long. Like it's going to be in the parking lot like this.
Well, probably also these guys that want first picks as far as if they're looking to buy knives though too, no?
Yeah, but the early bird, right?
Yeah,
the early bird special, say if they sell 300 tickets to early bird, you're going to have the 300 people standing outside just waiting for the door to crack. And then you have the other people that are not early bird in line too. And like they try to make it where, because early bird, I think is like 30 minutes. You have 30 minutes. You can get in early and get what you want. And a lot of people don't really care about that, but if you do care, you're going to be in line and you're going to be, as soon as the doors open, you're going to be rushing.
What time are the doors open every day?
What's that?
What time are the doors open every day?
Man, I don't remember. I think 10 or something.
9:30,
10, something
10.
like that. I forget. Something like that. I forget. But what's funny is the first day though, like you'll see them, you'll see the guys, you'll know like, oh, you've been here for a long time. You got recliners and shit out here. You can just see it. You can tell like they got blankets and stuff. Like, man, you're devoted. You almost wonder like what is so important that they're
I can tell you one that's not going to do it. I can promise you that my ass ain't sleeping in the bush to get in anywhere.
Well, but you start thinking about like, what?
No, I get it.
Special? Well, I know one guy, and I'm not going to say who he is, but the awesome dude, he buys them and he raffles them. So it's a business for him, right? So he's going, and when he's buying these $2,000-$3,000 knives that are just outstanding, or, maybe less, but he's going so he can get first dibs on these super rare knives, like the Rosies, the Conigariuses, and then, so he needs to be first. Like he's running. As soon as the door's open, he's rushing to get there so that he can get first dibs, and then he can raffle them and stuff. So, and I respect it, man, because like I said in my video the other day that I made, with the beef with Metal Complex, if you're willing to sleep in the bushes, so then wait for that damn door to open, by God, make some money on that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You put in the work.
Yeah, if you come out with something, I get that. If you ask me just sleeping in the bush to get in early,
right, you better be getting something. Yeah.
Get a knife, or don't go in there and buy some kind of dumbass folder either. Get something worth something.
Yeah.
Well, After
Love
this
it.
live, I think I could tell you for sure I'm going to be visiting a freaking sneaker shop because I think I'm going to get myself a nice, comfortable pair of shoes.
That's
At least
actually
update what I got, get a new
Yeah.
pair because I think we're going to need it. We're going to be on our feet all
I
day.
do the same thing.
Yeah.
So there's a guy, Screaming Pirate. You guys know who that is? Screaming Pirate.
Yeah.
He's got multiple videos. Watch his video on how to prepare for Blade Show. He's been there so many times. He tells you exactly the type of backpack to have, the types of shoes, water bottles. He breaks it down. And I watched his the first time when I went, and he was right on point. Like, he's got the best video for it. He explains, like, if you're used to wearing boots, okay, you might be able to tolerate boots all day. But if you're not, don't wear boots, wear sneakers. Like with me, I like wearing boots because I'm a boot wearer, but my feet were also messed up afterwards, right?
Yeah.
So tennis shoes were probably the better bet. Tennis shoes are just so much more comfortable. When you're moving around like that, it's better to have tennis shoes. So, and then the backpack, right? It's better to have a sling bag rather than a big backpack. If with us, we have equipment and stuff, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
But for most people, a sling bag is all you're going to need, something to carry your water and to carry the things you're going to, buy. So just like little thoughts like that. And then having a water bottle, like a lot of people won't even think about it. Like, make sure you have something you can refill in there, because they have some refill machines, but if you don't have a bottle,
That's good.
you're going to be looking for a vending machine, and that could be a block away. Literally, like no joke. Cash. Make sure you have cash, because you can get knives for better prices with cash. If you use a card, they're going to add an extra like 5%.
Yeah.
So if you want to save that 5%, make sure you bring cash. Get it beforehand, because the ATMs, people are going to be in line at the ATMs,
sure.
just taking all the money out. By the time you get up there, they might not even have no more money in there.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
So there's all those little details that, like, and even if you're not planning on spending $1,000, that doesn't matter. You might only spend $200, but wouldn't you rather save, the extra $30 just spending cash?
Yeah,
you can put in sneaker brands in the chat. Randy, New Balance. All right, I'll try. I'll stop New Balance.
Yeah, tennis shoes it's vital, man. You definitely want to wear something comfortable, something that you can tolerate long term. Because it can be brutal on the feet. It's just the way you're moving. You're moving around so much. There's so many people.
It's a different deal.
Yeah, it is. It's not like just being on your feet all day.
And you're on that concrete.
Yeah, and you're turning so much, you know, twisting, turning, getting into little, because there's so many people, man. There's so many people.
I can't wait, dude.
It's so much fun.
I'm just trying to think, because I got to go to work Monday. I'm trying to think what kind of shape I'm going to be in when I go back to work on Monday.
You're gonna be pooped. You're gonna be
crap.
I'm taking Monday off, dude. I'm not doing that shit.
I might try to actually take off. Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably try to take off Monday, because it's gonna be crazy.
I almost regret not staying one extra day just to like sleep. So that, because the next day I have to go and load up and go to the airport and haul my bags and all that shit. It'd be nice to just sleep the next day.
Yeah.
And then go the following day after.
You know what I think? Because you did this before. I think this is, at least for me, and I'm sure Scab agrees, I think this is going to kind of be like a lesson trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we're going to try to get a lot of things done, but it's going to be kind of like, all right, this is how we're approaching it.
Yeah.
How should we do it different next time?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's the way you got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to do it that way. Like with me, even though I knew what to expect, I still didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. Well, we're going to, I know that we volunteered some for like carnivorous table.
Okay.
I'll definitely be by work tough gear. Mr. Vic's going to be there. So we got.
Do you know what room they're going to be in?
Craft we're going to kind of post up. But yeah, I'm going. That's why I'm not real worried about filming as much as I like putting out content. I want to go. I want to get the feel. I want to get the experience. And then next year when we go, go full bore on filming and doing. Because I get frustrated really, really easy. I know everybody thinks I'm really, really nice, and I don't want to change that perception.
Yeah, no, I
know so I'm like, let me go, let me get my feet, like Joe said, learn, kind of learn.
See, that's a good point, Neeves. I mean, I think we have to figure out what tables we're going to go to, and really, you need to talk to Mr. Vic, see what room he's going to be in, try to get his location,
plan the attack.
We'll write it down and say, all right, we have to go straight to this room. We'll get Mr. Vic done. We'll go to whatever the case is, whatever the agenda calls.
They're going to be close.
Okay.
So that works out.
Plan your attack for sure. Plan your attack, and just if I was gonna recommend anything, if you're gonna film, do it on the first day.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's the best time to do it. Everybody's got their stuff, they're fresh, they're happy. It's the best environment is the first day. And also, by the way, the second day is even more packed than the first day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be easier too.
Saturday, a lot of. I mean, how packed is it on a Friday? It's pretty packed on a Friday.
It's packed, but you think it's as packed as it can get until Saturday.
Until Saturday. Wow.
Yeah.
Because there's just more people, that are like off. People are coming traveling.
Well, Saturday.
Yeah, it's Saturday. Yeah,
it's Saturday.
But one more thing about the filming though is in Scab. This is where if I was you, I would try to bring my phone to do a little bit of filming.
Yeah.
Because you can take advantage of so many opportunities, right? Just for an example, right? If you run into a fixed blade and it's that damn knife, that one, right? That one, that's a great thumbnail and title. Holy cow, I found the one. Like one I used was the craziest knives of Blade Show, where I literally go around and I try to find the craziest knives, and I filmed all the craziest knives I can find. That's a great thumbnail and title. People are interested. People want to see what was the craziest knives at Blade Show, 2023. So just think about it with that mindset that you're going to run into so many opportunities. You're going to be like, damn it, I wish I filmed that. Because 30 seconds, just a quick,
Well, what I'm saying is because I know me, I was thinking shorts, thumbnails, Instagram.
Yeah.
Hit it and keep moving because I'm like you, man. I'm a talker, and Joe will tell you, I don't run out of shit to say. So I'll turn around and talk to somebody. And so I thought, you know what? I'll hit some reels, some shorts. I love the idea about the photography. Like for Instagram. And I guess what I'm saying is, and the other thing is, man, and I don't want it to come off assholey, but I don't want to go do what everybody else. Hey, this is where at this table and these. Yeah, okay. Well, I've seen that guy 27 times.
Yeah.
On 14 different channels. I don't.
I agree.
And it's nothing against that. It's nothing. No disrespect. It's just if
you're not number one, you might as well not do it. That's the way I look at it too. There's a couple booths that I will film just because I have a relationship with the company. So I want to help. Right. But for the most part, I don't want this guy. He just posted a video on that booth. This guy just posted a video on the booth. This guy just did. And now I am. Right. Everybody's already seen everything that's at that booth. So, but that's why I think it's good, because there's going to be so many booths and tables that do not get filmed. Most tables are not going to be filmed. It's only the top popular ones. So you're going to have so many custom makers that nobody's filming at their, maybe they'll just briefly walk past. And that's what I mean about the craziest knives, right? Because some of the crazies are not the ones that people come there and see, because they don't know about them. They're customs, the guy's not, on Instagram, or maybe if he is, you don't know who he is. So you'll run into some stuff and you're like, how have I never seen this before?
Yeah.
And that will make you watch it. Yeah, I need to film this.
I'm interested in that. DJ Horn, we were chatting the other day, and DJ's like, bro, you're going to spend more time with custom pocket knife makers than you ever thought. He said, I'm just and he's got a lot of buddies that have booths there.
Yep.
But he goes, those are the guys you want to really, that come up with the custom cool shit that you can do some one-on-one with,
Yeah, and they're the nice
Joe
guys.
And I have one of our buddies, Jed Hornbeak, who's one of the best makers in the world, is actually going to be there too. So I kind of want to focus on the custom guys.
Yeah.
And then of course the channels or the companies, the Work Tough Gear, Carnivora, Rosecraft, Best Tech, those people that we represent.
Yep.
Yeah. But I want to spend time, because see the custom, like the shit I was showing you earlier, that custom stuff.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that I'm like,
get your juices going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where somebody that can make a big, at this point, I've held so many fixed blades that I've kind of got it down to a nuance of what I like.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like going and challenging myself maybe go against the grain, maybe go and look at shit that I wouldn't look at.
Yeah.
Really focus on that to expand and broaden that, you know.
Yeah,
That's
well, there's going to be a lot of
doing.
barbaric knives there. Like I said, when you see like just the animal comes out of you, it's like, and you just instantly start thinking about chopping down the forest or a zombie apocalypse. It's like you start wishing for it. Like, damn it, I wish a zombie apocalypse would happen right now. But Kara at Texas, she met a damn custom maker and talked him into making her a knife. So now when we go there, he's got a knife made for her when we get there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it just, you know, because the people, man, they're such good people. You get so many people that you can just sit there and talk to. You can set up deals with or plans, you know, and as long as you're serious, they're serious, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to go and waste anybody's time, but I do in the pit. DJ said, bro, you got to go to the pit. He said, if you don't go to the damn show, go to the pit. You know, and I understood what he was saying. He said, because there's people there that are just super cool and you can meet and talk, and that's what I like doing, you know, and just getting people's backstory. We're going to meet Jed there. It's going to be, man, it's just going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, to show you guys a new knife that just dropped. I haven't even put it on the channel yet. I just opened it up. He's going to be at the show. I'm pretty positive. Yeah, he's going to be at the show. This is the new American Blade Works.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. And I got the original one or the Model 1 version. I forget, but this one is titanium with the steel liner lock and then Magna Cut at 64 HRC, I believe it is. So nice. Really good heat treat. And yeah, man, this thing, it's pretty awesome. The sound of it. Nice. Thwack.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'm excited about these. And I'm glad that he's doing, because so many companies, a lot of them are doing it better now, but a lot of them started out doing the Magna Cut a little bit on the softer side, but now most of them know better. And it's specifically to folders, right? Because if it's a fixed blade, it makes sense. You want it to be abused. But when it comes to certain folders, it's like, man, that HRC should be higher because you want the edge retention. And a lot of companies now, like even ProTech switched theirs to I think 64. So I think this one's like 63 to 64 HRC from ProTech. And a bunch of other companies I have too, same way. Like they have the high HRC on their Magna Cut, which is really good. The edge retention test I did at for Tactile, what was it? The Tactile Maverick. I did the edge retention test on that. It cut 759 feet or something of cardboard. And it was still sharp, still really sharp. It was just barely hanging up on paper. And that's in a 1-inch section, not the whole blade, a 1-inch section of push cuts. Did 7. Think about that. That's a lot of cutting, right? That's 759 feet in a 1-inch section doing push cuts. Imagine the whole blade now, right?
That's a lot.
It really shows you what Magna Cut can do when it's heat treated properly.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And I think a lot of people, when Magna Cut came out, they didn't understand it, and they tried to go a little lower. They tried to
it's you know, with any new steel, there's a learning curve. You got to see how much you could get away with, what's going to work best, and you know, think about any new steels that come out in the market. How you know that they're amazing now, but they weren't maybe when you had the same steel 5 years ago or something like that.
Well, that's like we had Medford on, we had Greg on.
That's awesome.
There was a lot of misunderstanding there.
Yeah.
What Greg did, because he said it's on the thing. He goes, look, I heat treat at whatever it was, 63 or whatever. He said, but I started out low with what I knew. Yep. He said, that's what got misrepresented. Yep. He said, I started low with what I knew and I worked my way up.
Right.
And now this is where we're at. And you
can't blame him, because if something goes wrong, guess who it falls on?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So it makes sense.
And if you have one, again, you can have one failure and now it's online forever, and that's all people look at.
Yeah. And I heard him right away, really quickly. He said, because at first he was running it low, he came out pretty quickly and says, okay, we're raising it to this. Yeah. So it's not like it was that long. But then I still heard people saying like, oh, he's doing it this. I was like, no, he's not. He turned it up pretty quickly. So And along with a lot of other companies, same thing. Hogue was really soft at first too. Now there's 63, 64 as well. So
well, but it makes sense to me to start low and work your way up. There's a lot of online experts. Have you ever done it?
Well, especially with a brand new steel that is
Absolutely.
literally revolutionary. Nope, it's not like a steel like say S30V from S35, right?
Right.
That it was kind of already there, right? So you have a good idea. With this stuff, it's a whole new and if you listen to people that talk about it, it's different. It actually gets tougher with higher hardness. Obviously, there's a level of which it falls off, but no steel does that. No other steel gets tougher with higher hardness. So that was something that was very special to MagnaCut.
This is in MagnaCut, and I apologize for the lighting. I'm in a different room. This is the Phobos, Phobos.
I love
this. This is in MagnaCut. Now, the one thing that I like that this dude does is he sends you more information on this shit. But I was going to read, he had his, it's the Tier 1 BC. Let me find it. Okay. It's CPM MagnaCut. He keeps his at 61 or 62, and it's cryogenically tempered. But you know what I like about him, Jerad? Mm-hmm. He sent this to me. He says, Scab, test it. Give me all the feedback you can. This is new to us. He didn't shy away from it. He said, if we got a problem, let me know. He said, but I think we got it dialed in. That's the kind of people I want to do business with. Not, not, well, if it fucks up, not feedback. Give us feedback.
Yep.
I love this dude. We're going to have him on, I think, in the next week or so. But I like his honesty.
Yeah.
And the truth is, I'm hoping it works because I love this freaking knife.
Yeah, and you want a company that just sounds to me when I hear that, I hear a guy who wants to make the best product.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people out here that they just want to make something that's going to sell rather than making something that's going to be good, right? And that's where, like I was talking about earlier, like where it doesn't make sense. Why does it have this with this, right? Because these two things clash. It doesn't make sense. So, but when a person that really cares about their product and really cares about the end user and really wants the end user to have a great product more than anything, they want to hear honest feedback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They want to know like, oh, this is too sharp here, or this is uncomfortable there, or this doesn't work here. Let them know. So now they can change it for the better so that at the end, the people get the best product.
Well, I'm on not drag it out, but I wanted to read this to you. This is what I like. It says your Tier 1 BC has a 20-degree secondary edge angle. This is a utilitarian angle and is designed in. It will provide an incredibly sharp edge that is long-lasting and easy to maintain. And then they give you some recommended angles, okay? Hard use, 22-degree edge bevel, heavy impacts. Medium use, 19.5 edge bevel, utility use. And then he says light use, 17-inch edge bevel, terrifyingly sharp. But then they say it is not recommended to reprofile your Tier 1 BC secondary edge bevel beyond 17 degrees. So I know he's covering his ass there a little bit, but I like that he gives that. And it says your Tier 1 BC has a flat, your primary bevel is a flat 4-inch primary bevel and 0.035 grind behind the edge. So he gives you a lot of information.
That is a lot. I've never seen that before.
Hell, I wish everybody would give you that much information.
I mean, dude, seriously. He sent me 2 to try out.
It's amazing.
Tier 1 and the Kakula. Now this guy is a vet. He is a disabled vet. He was disabled in the service. So his thought process, the Kakula here, and we talked to him today. This one is so I thought you might like this one. This one is for self-defense.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Oh man, yeah.
That's probably my favorite one from them. I like that one.
Now that one's looks like it would he gives you a ton of information on the knife, and that one's in S35. So I'm really excited to see where it goes, but I like that communication.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I like that, hey, type
that's
stuff.
great information. I mean, more people should do that, because what he's trying to say there is that he's tested the edge angle from 22 to 15, and at 15 he got microchipping.
Yeah.
Basically what happened, and it was probably through abuse. Somebody who puts a 15-degree edge bevel, and this is what I always say, what are you using it for, right? Because people ask me, well, what edge angle should I put on this knife or whatever? Well, what are you using it for, right? Are you going to be tough on it? If you're going to be tough on it, then you want it about 20 degrees, right?
Yeah.
If you want it to be a little less tough, but still hold toughness, but very, very slicey, go 17. Now, if you don't care anything about toughness and you only want cutting performance, go to 15, but just know that it's not going to be tough.
Yeah.
Right. So, and if you want a really tough edge, something that's going to hold up through a lot of abuse, 22.5 degrees. You know, so
I know, Jerad, I know that there's a lot of companies, and Tops comes to mind. And I've seen a thing where Leo once said that a lot of their stuff is at 25 degree per side.
Yeah.
Do they do that as a precaution?
So you can always, the thing is you can always lower it, but you can't take it back. Not saying you can't take it back, because you can take a 15-degree edge bevel and turn it into a 20, but you're going to lose a lot more steel than if it started out at 20 and then you went to 15. So it just gives people, and then this is another thing, is that the edge is extremely, extremely tough. They do not know exactly what you're going to do with it. So they want to cover all bases and say, this is the toughest edge it can possibly have. So if you do some dumb stuff with it, it's not going to chip. It's going to be good. Right. But if you know yourself and you know, I'm not going to do dumb stuff, I'm going to use it straight for cutting, you can lower back the edge angle yourself. So that's usually why.
So it's just kind of protecting, which makes sense to me. But I've gotten to where I like that 20 degree. Mm-hmm. It seems to cover the bases pretty well. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to find that damn Boosie, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's because the guy told me, he said, man, if you can get a Boosie on the channel, that would be dope. So JR hooked me up with one. But they had taken it. Boosie does a lot of their stuff, I think, at a 25 degree as well. Okay. But this one's been reprofiled to a 19. And it's in that inferior, or that INFI. Am I saying that right? Steel. It's their proprietary steel. Okay. Boosie Combat Knives. I mean, this guy's got a couple master degrees, and this is his proprietary steel. So it's at 19 degrees. So I'm really, really curious to see how it holds up. There it is, to the different stuff. Damn it.
So 19 should still be, should still be holding on to a lot of toughness. I usually recommend, like, if you want your edge to be tougher than slicey, but still slicey, go to 20. Now, if you're okay with losing a little bit of toughness, you know, and adding a little bit more sharpness, better cutting performance, a little bit better edge holding ability, just for cutting, not for chopping, then 17, right? Yeah. But if you're going to be tough, you're going to be tough on it.
I go with 17 on all my swords.
I mostly do 17 myself. 17 is a great.
I go with like the sword, the katana over there. That's a 17 level that I reprofiled.
Yeah, and if it's super thick behind the edge, like, that's another thing, that the thicker it is, the bigger the bevel. Yeah. So say if it's 20 degrees across 5 knives, whichever one is the thickest behind the edge, the 20 degree edge bevel is going to be bigger than if something's super thin and you have a 20 degree, you're not even going to be able to see the edge bevel. Yeah. So depending on the geometry plays a part, and you know, because you still want a little bit of a balance. You don't want it to look abnormal.
I love the handles.
There's there's the Boosie.
That's gorgeous.
Dude, yeah. I'm absolutely in love. And I'm curious on this steel because, like I said, it's his proprietary. And it's INFI. But this
do you know if it's a carbon
like
steel? Is it a carbon steel, a stainless steel? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of it. So,
but it's BUSSE.
Bussy.
Mostly.
Depending
Jared,
on
have
what
you
part
heard
of
of
the country you're from.
VC Edge knives?
Yeah, I have.
Because
Wow.
I Mark in the chat just brought it up, and I actually brought it up on screen. These are crazy ass freaking
dude.
knives.
You can go watch him make these. He's got a YouTube channel.
Hold on, let me actually bring it up on screen.
Mind blowing. Yeah.
Hold on.
This guy's if you've ever held one of these,
These are nuts.
You want to talk about light? I'm talking about these things are so light. Whatever you're thinking right now of the lightest thing you could think of, half the weight. Like it, because remember the blade is carbon fiber. Only the edge is steel. So the blade's carbon fiber, everything's carbon fiber. It's so damn light. When you put it in your hand, it doesn't make sense. Like your brain just can't grasp that there's something even in your hand.
They're also giving you M390 with a 62 HRC.
Yep.
Hand polish to a 1500 grit, convex blade edge. Oh, it's a convex blade edge. That's nice.
Yeah, but the blade is carbon fiber. Just the edge is that. See the edge?
I see it.
Okay.
Yeah, I see it.
But
That's
even down to the clip,
man.
the machining is out of this world when you see.
Bro, that's sick.
It is so sick.
Well, it's also a $2,800 knife. So, yeah, I could see. Yeah, you can see that. That's pretty crazy.
See the crosscut section in the blade? That's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's on another level. It really is. The guy's a master, man.
Yeah, this is just going someplace else with everything. This is, I mean, that you could pretty much throw whatever we spoke about on this whole freaking show out the window, because this is on a totally different level altogether.
Yeah.
You know,
it's another level of eliteness when it comes to knives.
Absolutely.
It's damn near
these are the kind of guys that'll be at Blade Show, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if he'll be there, but you'll see stuff you've never seen before like this. Yeah. You'll see stuff like this. Like, what was it? Jean-Pierre we seen last year, and his stuff was crazy. Like he had clips that go inside the handle. So you have to pinch them and then put them in your pocket and they pop out. And then like, it basically like floats out as you're putting it in your pocket. And he had some of the most unique stuff like that I've ever even seen.
Oh, these are like freaking alien knives. This is like a knife that like I would see an alien coming out of a fucking UFO carrying around. This is crazy.
If you get a chance, watch some of his videos on the making of these. They're okay. Put it this way, Joe. See those clips right there?
Yeah.
Those clips have weight relieving in them.
Oh shit.
Go to the other side. If you can see the other side of the clips, they're machined out. So, because he's trying to make it as light as possible. Look at the weight on the knife. See if you can find the weight.
Okay.
I bet you it's like 2 ounces. 1.5 ounces.
1.5. That's crazy.
Yeah, 1.53. Yeah, 1.5.
For nearly a 9-inch knife. 1.5 ounces for nearly a 9-inch knife. That's hard to fathom. That's hard to fathom right there.
I mean, it's
lighter than a bug out, but double the size.
Dude, I would be scared to death to lose that.
Yeah.
One and a half ounces, you're not, bro, if that falls out, you're not going to know it's.
You won't know. No, you won't even hear it hit the ground.
No. You'll hear your heart break.
I mean, I honestly look at the price of these knives, but you see the specs and you see the amount of work.
Oh yeah,
that they're putting into these things, and it's warranted, man. Look at the amount of work.
Oh no, for sure. It's definitely warranted. When you really see the levels and depth this guy goes to create these things, you're like, okay, I understand the price 100%. People can bitch about prices all they want. Watch the work that he puts into these things.
Hey, JR, you watching? Is JR in the room?
If he is, he'll probably have one.
Look at that backspacer.
Oh my goodness.
It's a floating backspacer. And it's got words on it. So, okay, see the clip right here? Look at this. Look at the clip. See, look at the nose of it. He's got him. See how there's a hole machined through it?
Yeah.
So that's weight relieving. So it's hollow. It's a hollow clip to bring down the weight. because that's how he gets it down to 1 point. He's tried to make the lightest knife you could possibly make, and he succeeded because 1.5 ounces. I don't know what the lightest knife in the world is, but that's got to be close to it.
Bro, that's hard. That's hard to quantify.
It is.
A lot of guys, and Advanced Knife Bro is one of my favorite guys, and he looks for a knife under 4 ounces, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you start talking about 1.5 ounces, that's hard to wrap your mind around.
Even for a small knife.
Even for a
tiny knife is heavier than that. Like I can grab any slip joint, and it's going to be more than 1.5 ounces. And this thing is nearly 9 inches. It's like 8.8 inches.
That's what's insane.
Yeah.
Now,
beautiful though, man.
These are beautiful.
And they're gorgeous.
Oh my God. I've never seen that before as far as the carbon fiber and then the cutting edge. It's
so
unbelievable.
They affix the cutting edge to the carbon fiber.
Yeah, so it's like notched out and then it's pressed together.
Okay.
And then I think glued. I think there's a glue and then pressed together. When it's all said and done, because I think it's done in a big piece first, I think, and then cut. I'm not positive about that, maybe not. But that's what it seems like because the tolerances are so tight. It's almost like it's done prior to but maybe not. Maybe it's machined and then put together. I don't know.
Well, that's not one you're going to baton or no. Do drop tests with.
I don't know how much use that's going to get. I'll
tell you how much. Zero.
Oh,
unless I got, I'll put it to you like this. If somebody buys that knife, they're probably cutting lines and they're not real worried about it. That would be what that knife would be for.
Right. There you go.
When everybody goes in the back room to the mirror, that's what comes out.
That's probably what they're doing.
Cutting the lines that don't take much edge retention.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Right.
And don't hit the mirror too hard.
Right. Exactly.
Let me stop drooling now. All right.
That's crazy, man.
Those are on other. And like I said, he's got a YouTube channel, so he's came in my chat a few times, and yeah, it's so insane. One of these days, I would love to get one of his knives on the channel because they're on another level, and most people are never going to be able to afford one, but just to see it, to experience it. It's one of the most unique knives that I can think of. When you really start thinking about unique knives, like what other knife has a blade made out of carbon fiber?
Dude, one of the things like I understand, pricing and budget. I'm a working man, but I know for myself personally, if you got that on your channel, I'm watching that video because I want to see. You know what I'm saying? I want to experience that. I don't care if I can afford it or not. That doesn't play in. I want to witness that.
Yeah.
And see your reaction to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I want to see how it makes you feel. That's
somebody,
part of the
somebody
deal.
said the pocket clip on their Kaiser Hiccup is over 1.5 ounces.
Bro,
well, I've been trying to get a Multihara katana on my channel for a long time, and those are very hard to get. I mean, second market, even on those things. I mean, those are $5,000 swords.
Oh wow!
And it's just I could totally understand that. People would want to see and just experience like the whole quality of it.
So as far as the show goes, do you guys have anything in mind that you want to get or see? That's like on the top?
No, not really.
Just whatever.
I think honestly, I think we both made a conscious decision that we're gonna go and we're gonna meet and greet and network.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything in my head to say I don't think I'm gonna buy one damn knife. I mean, I'll be honest,
the way to go.
I don't have a plan for it.
Yeah.
If I see something, maybe, but I don't have a plan for it at all. I think
it's nice to just get your hands on it. It's kind of like going to a car show. Just because you go to a car show doesn't mean you get to drive everything, right?
Right. Sit inside, experience the cabin and all that. Yeah, exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you and I talked, Jerad. And I'll be honest, this is a business trip for me. As much as I want to, and if anybody's watching, it's going to be like JR is going to be there. I can't wait to meet JR, and I can't wait to meet Jacob, and I can't wait. But I also, this year, I've set a goal. We're on our way to that goal. But Blade Show is a big part of that goal. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to buy a knife. That's not the point of going. If I see something, I'm like, oh yeah. But I want to meet the people behind the knife. And I know that sounds kind of lame, but it's true.
Yeah.
I want to meet, network, bullshit, talk knives. And to be honest, I want to learn. I want this to be a learning experience. I don't want to get kicked out on the second day. That's also a major goal, that we don't get banned from Blade.
Me too. Me too. That's like at the top of the list for me.
Yeah.
Do not get into a fight. Do not get kicked out.
That's in a notebook. Do not get trespassed from Blade Show.
Right. Never allowed to go back.
Because there's a couple guys, if I see them, I'm probably going to get trespassed. But I'm going to try to network as much as I can before I get to that point.
Pictures of Scab all over the place. Don't let this guy in the back door.
Yeah.
He's trying.
I'll have Atlanta PD waiting on me. But I mean, I'm so looking forward to it. And the other part of it too, man, is just to kind of be around like-minded people. And I'm not talking about political spirit. I'm talking about blade-wise, just people that love knives.
Yes.
You know, I want to experience that, because most of the time, this is the only place we get it online, because I start talking to people about knives, and people look at me like I did some time in the joint or a serial killer anyway. Yeah,
for sure.
And you start whipping out knives. So I want to be around people that have the same passion. You know,
well, also, like you said, man, networking. This is, if you ever wanted to network, talk about networking, man. Holy cow, do you get an opportunity to network? Because you get to get right in front of them people and shake their hand and look them in the eyes, you know, and discuss business, discuss whatever, even if it's just a chit chat to get a feeling of them and who they are. And don't get me wrong, there's going to be some guys you're going to get some bad vibes on, you know. You're like, you know what? I met him, you know, it's okay, it's cool, but you know, I'm probably not going to care about doing business with this guy. And it is what it is. But there's so many people, and you know what happened to me in Texas, and it felt good. I'll just be honest, it felt really good. I would walk up to a booth and I'd be talking to one of the custom makers or one of the makers, whatever, right? Looking at their stuff. And you know, I'm checking it out, and they ain't got a clue who I am, not a clue in the world. And I'm talking to them, you know, about their knives, you know, and maybe a little bit about the channel. And then 2 or 3 people will walk up and start asking for a picture, an autograph, you know, like, hey, can you take a picture with me? I love your show. And then all of a sudden the people behind the table are like, who the fuck is this guy? You know, then they'll start looking up, like, what'd you say your channel was? They'll start looking it up. And it just kind of feels good, because it's like, you know, it feels good. And that's why I love it, man. Everybody who come up to me as much as you guys want at any time. I don't care what I'm doing.
That's awesome.
Because the people are, man, that's the best part. It really is. The best part is meeting everybody, out,
sure.
chit-chatting.
That's what I'm mostly looking forward to.
The knives are it's just a cherry. It really is, because the people are where it's at.
Now, Jerad, do they have swords there? We're trying to figure that out.
Yeah, a lot of swords. Yeah, fuck yeah.
They do.
They have shields and armor and everything. Yeah. Nice. Oh yeah.
Well, that's I mean, at the end of the day, we love knives, but Joe's thing is sword, in particular katana. So we've been trying to figure out, hey, are there guys with katana there?
I think there's going to be more European swords.
Mostly that, but they still do have katanas.
They do.
They've got to have katana.
They have to. Yeah, but I can imagine a lot of European companies.
You're going to see, like, there's going to be some booths where all they have is swords. So they have wall displays. So, like, yes, you can walk up and just grab it, but it's going to be something where you got to walk up and pick it up like this. And there's just going to be rows of them. and some of them, you know, you might have to request, but they'll hand it to you. They don't care. But, and then there's going to be tables that literally just have them laying there on the table, and you can walk up, you know, and grab them. But there's definitely swords everywhere. There's so many swords, like, a lot of swords. Yeah, for sure.
That's fun.
We'll make that happen, Shane.
Yeah. I gotta get back with old Scab.
We're gonna have some fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, man.
Oh man, it's gonna be a blast.
Well, boys, we probably ought to bring this to the end, being that I've got to get up at 4.
Yeah, I got to get to work too.
I hear you guys.
Jerad, thank you, Bubba. This has been a blast.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man. I appreciate you guys having me.
Looking forward to shaking your hand, meeting you, man. That's awesome.
And we're gonna see each other soon.
Yeah,
right. Dude, it's not too far away.
Pretty much a month. I mean, pretty much coming up exactly a month. Yeah.
Are you guys ready?
Ready. As soon as I get my new sneakers, I'll be ready.
Right, I was about to say, you're not ready yet.
Listen,
you're not ready.
Joe, you can't come down here and call them sneakers.
What do you call? I call them sneakers. What the frick do you call them?
You can't want pop and all that shit.
All right. Why? What do you call them?
Shoot. Don't come down here and ask for no pop either.
We call them sneakers in New York.
Everybody calls them
kicks. I'll call them sneakers. Hey,
and
listen,
if you
I'm
want
bringing
a
New York
soft
with
drink,
me. I don't care.
Coke. It don't matter what it is. You just want a Coke.
What if it's a Mountain Dew? Call it Coke.
Coke. That's it.
It's all Coke.
When they'll say what kind, and then Mountain Dew.
It doesn't even make sense to me.
But don't come down here with no sneakers. I can tell you that right. You get us run completely out of Atlanta.
I don't give a fuck what I call them as long as they're comfortable. As long as they.
No, people care. Trust me when I tell you, people care.
I remember I was down south one time and I kept saying pop, and they were getting so mad at me for saying pop. I didn't understand.
I want to soda.
That's what we call it. We call it pop.
Yeah, but pop is a Canadian thing.
But I'm just saying, I've always called it pop since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or soda.
Everybody in Chicago calls
a lot of y'all call it soda. I want a soda. What?
Soda.
Well, soda pop.
Soda.
No, soda pop. Soda.
Yeah, I want a
Coke.
soda.
I want a Coke. That's all you got to say.
A Mountain Dew Coke.
And if they got beer, you just walk up and say, I want a beer. And then they'll ask you. Joe, don't get no goofy ass beer. Don't. We don't call that now.
Somebody in Texas walked up and gave me a Blade Show beer.
Did he really?
Yeah. Just walked up to me and says, "Hey, nice to meet you. I've got you a beer." I didn't have a clue who it was. I said, "Hey, I wasn't going to be mean. Yeah, thank you." You know.
Yeah, you don't turn down a free beer. I didn't realize they had it there. We may be getting kicked out of Blade Show. That'd be good.
Well, like I said, the pit's going to be filled with, everybody. A lot of people are going to be lit for sure, but in a good way. Everybody has a good time.
Yeah,
that's the beautiful thing. Seems like everybody basically gets in a good mood. So,
all right.
Let's
do this. I'm gonna shut up. I've talked the whole time. Jerad, you and Joe close us out, and to all a good night. I hope we see y'all here tomorrow night for Ernie Emerson. We're excited. Jerad, dude, love you. I really do. Y'all close us out. I'm gonna watch.
I'll see you soon, Scab.
Great show, buddy. Great show. You and me got unfinished business to do too, and
yes, we do. About. Yes, we absolutely
do. Let's get that going.
Yes, for sure.
Definitely a lot of fun. Very much looking forward to meeting you, man.
Oh man,
it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be so great.
I'm gonna be the best Blade show. We're gonna catch our eyes like across the room. I'm gonna run to you with freaking open arms. I'm gonna say,
"There you go,
Jared." Put it in slow motion on film. I have Scab read me.
Music, the slow music,
music by the dramatic.
Yeah, definitely. I'm telling you, this is going to be a Blade show to remember. This one's going to be one that people talk about for a long time. I think this one's going to be. This is going to be a Blade show that encourages and makes people so jealous that they didn't go, and they're going to want to next year. It's going to be that type for sure.
Freaking absolutely. All right, so let's close it off to everybody in the chat. Thank you for sticking with us for over 2 hours here, almost 2 hours and a half. Much appreciated.
Good times.
Please try to join us tomorrow for Emerson Knives, Mr. Ernest there, and that should be a pretty good show too. And have a good guys hang out. Have a good evening, everybody. Close it off, and enjoy the rest of the week. Have a good one. Ciao.